Chapter 4427. That's right. Wang Kuei nodded. The current Ming family has been promoted from a second-rate family to a first-rate family in Kanglan City. All this is because their family gave birth to an ultimate powerhouse. The Ming family's grand elder, Ming Tianfeng. The Ming family's grand elder, Ming Tianfeng. Duan Lingtian had heard this name from many people in Blue Dawn City. He knew that the Ming family's ultimate powerhouse was Ming Tianfeng, so he did not feel anything when Wang Kuei mentioned his name. Wang Kuei seemed to have something to say, but hesitated after he finished speaking. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly and said, "Patriarch Wang, I'm sure you won't mention the Ming family of Kanglan City for no reason. If Patriarch Wang has something to say, please speak frankly." At this moment, Duan Lingtian only thought that the news of his strength at such a young age had spread to the Ming family of Kanglan City. The Ming family of Kanglan City might be extending an olive branch to him. Apart from that, he could not figure out why Patriarch Wang Kuei of the Wang family had such a troubled expression. He was most likely worried that he would be poached by the Ming family of Kanglan City. However, in the next moment, Duan Lingtian was even more certain that the Ming family of Kanglan City wanted to rope him in. The direct descendant of the Ming family's ultimate powerhouse, Ming Tianfeng, wants to see me? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow. Patriarch Wang, do you know why he wants to see me? Although he had guessed it, he did not point it out and ask the obvious. However, when Wang Kuei spoke again, Duan Lingtian was stunned. He realized that he had misunderstood. The descendant of the ultimate powerhouse of the Ming family of Kanglan City was not here to rope him in, but to compete with him for Wang Luoyu. Patriarch Wang, do you mean, in the past, he came to propose marriage but was rejected by the Wang family? Now that an ultimate powerhouse has appeared in the Ming family, and he has the backing of an ultimate powerhouse, he wants to make a comeback and ruin the marriage between Wang Luoyu and me? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow, and his gaze instantly became sharp. That's what he meant. At the same time, Wang Kuei nodded and said righteously, however, "Young Master Li Feng, don't worry. Our Wang family will definitely stand on your side. I've also bluntly rejected Meng Yuzheng. However, he still insists on meeting you, young Master Li Feng. Most likely, he is still unconvinced and wants to see what kind of person our Wang family betrothed Luoyu to, and what kind of background he has." Not interested. Hearing Wang Kuei's words, Duan Lingtian immediately responded in an indifferent tone. If I were to meet any Tom, Dick, or Harry who comes looking for me, I, Li Feng, would be lowering my status. A descendant of a newly ascended powerhouse dares to ruin my wedding? How laughable. Patriarch Wang, since you said that the Wang clan's attitude is clear, then there's no need to bother with him anymore. I'm not interested in seeing him anyway. Duan Lingtian made his stance clear in a domineering manner. In the face of Duan Lingtian's strength, Wang Kuei's heart trembled. When the young man in front of him mentioned the words newly ascended powerhouse, his tone was obviously contemptuous. It was obvious that he did not think highly of the newly ascended powerhouse. A person with such confidence was either deliberately mystifying or had an even more powerful person behind him. With his achievements at such a young age, it's basically impossible for him to be deliberately mystifying. There should be an extremely powerful supreme powerhouse behind him. Moreover, it should be a supreme powerhouse outside of Tiansha. When he thought of this, Wang Kuei's heart trembled. At the same time, he was somewhat relieved that he had rejected Meng Yuzheng. Otherwise, he would have offended this person in front of him. The person behind Meng Yuzheng was only a newly ascended supreme powerhouse. Even if the few supreme powerhouses who had connections with the Wang clan were only mediocre among the supreme powerhouses, it was enough to deter the newly ascended supreme powerhouse from the Meng clan. However, the supreme powerhouse behind this young man named Li Feng could be a powerful existence among the supreme powerhouses. Even if the Wang clan had connections with a few supreme powerhouses, they would not dare to provoke such a supreme powerhouse. This was because it was very likely that the other party could rely on his own strength to deal with those supreme powerhouses. As expected, these heaven-defying geniuses rarely have any roots. Every one of them is someone with a powerful background. At this moment, Wang Kuei's back was drenched in cold sweat. "Young Master Li Feng, don't worry. I'll pass on the message immediately." Wang Kuei quickly replied. Compared to before, his tone was more respectful. Previously, he was only impressed by the young man's heaven-defying talent and strength. Now, he was completely intimidated by the supreme powerhouse behind the other party. Although the other party's talent and comprehension were high and his strength was strong, if he wanted to deal with the Wang clan now, it would be like striking a rock with an egg. However, if the supreme powerhouse behind the other party made a move, the Wang clan could be destroyed. As the current head of the Wang clan, he naturally did not want the Wang clan to be destroyed by his own hands. If that happened, how could he face his ancestors? After Wang Kuei left, Duan Lingtian's side regained its peace. However, while Duan Lingtian's side was calm, Meng Yujing of the Meng clan of Kanglan City flew into a rage when he found out that Duan Lingtian had no intention of meeting him. Head of the Wang clan, if he doesn't want to meet me, then I'll meet him. I'd like to see what kind of thing he is. How dare he ignore me? A member of the Meng clan who received orders from a supreme powerhouse to marry Wang Luoyu. At this moment, Meng Yujing was like an enraged beast. However, in the face of his rage, Wang Kuei snorted coldly. Young Master Meng Yujing, this is the Wang clan, not your Meng clan. Young Master Li Feng will become the son-in-law of the Wang clan in half a month's time. Now, he can be considered half a member of the Wang clan. If you want to meet him, you'd better wait until the wedding date in half a month's time. At this moment, Wang Kuei was furious. It was because of this fellow that he had almost offended young Master Li Feng and might have destroyed the Wang clan. Meng Yujing naturally ignored Wang Kuei and clamored to meet the two grand elders of the Wang clan. In his opinion, the head of the Wang clan, Wang Kuei, was not strong enough to go against the wishes of his great-grandfather, the supreme powerhouse of the Meng clan, Meng Tianfeng. Head of the Wang clan, let the two grand elders come out for a meeting. I'm afraid you alone can't represent the entire Wang clan. The Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Xiaoding, stared at Wang Kuei with an unfriendly gaze and said in a low voice, Young Master Meng Yujing just wants to meet the young man chosen by the Meng clan. Is this request very high? The Meng clan is unwilling to even agree to such a small request from young Master Meng Yujing, who has been instructed by the Supreme Lord. Tan Xiaoding's tone became increasingly unfriendly as he spoke. Since the two of you want to meet the Grand Elders, there's naturally no problem. Please follow me to the guest hall. Wang Kuei was also somewhat irritated by the two of them being so difficult to deal with. He kept bringing up the new supreme powerhouse of the Meng clan, Meng Tianfeng, and even said that he alone could not represent the Wang clan. Could it be that these two fellows thought that the two grand elders of the Wang clan were senile and did not know who was more important? Meng Yujing was making a fuss. It was not a big fuss, but it was not a small one either. After all, the person he was making a fuss about was the current head of the Wang clan, Wang Kuei. Almost everyone in the Wang clan knew Wang Kuei. Therefore, when Meng Yujing and Tan Xiaoding were brought to the guest hall by Wang Kuei again, the news of Meng Yujing's unfriendly visit began to spread in the Wang clan. That Meng clan of Kanglan City really thinks that they are invincible just because they produced a supreme powerhouse? They want Meng Yujing to come over and forcefully marry Wang Luoyu? The Meng clan is only a newly promoted first-class clan. In the history of the Meng clan, this is the first supreme powerhouse of their clan. On the other hand, our Wang clan has produced supreme powerhouses in the past, and they have been reigning supreme for many years. Even today, they still have the power to protect us. Compared to our ancestors of the Wang clan, that Meng Tianfeng of the Meng clan is nothing. Shh, lower your voice. After all, he is a supreme powerhouse. If he takes issue with you for being disrespectful to him, even the clan won't be able to protect you. The news spread in the Wang clan, and naturally, it spread to the person involved, Wang Luoyu. When Wang Luoyu heard about this matter, she could not help but frown. She knew that the wedding in half a month was only a part of her elder brother Duan's plan. After the wedding, elder brother Duan would bring her away from the Wang clan and Kanglan City. She had even been waiting for that day to come step by step. She did not expect such an unforeseen event to suddenly occur. Will elder brother Duan be able to withstand the pressure from the Ming clan? When she thought of this, Wang Luoyu could not help but feel slightly worried. However, when she understood the ins and outs of the matter, she heaved a sigh of relief. Based on the current news, the clan seems to be on elder brother Duan's side. Just as Wang Luoyu heaved a sigh of relief, Yi Qiangwei brought the old woman who followed her like a shadow to the courtyard and greeted Wang Luoyu. Sister Luoyu, are you in? Sister Qiangwei. Wang Luoyu stood up and left the courtyard. She welcomed Yi Qiangwei and Yi Qiangwei in and greeted the old woman beside Yi Qiangwei at the same time. Sister Luoyu, I heard that someone from the Ming clan of Kanglan City came and requested to change your wedding partner in half a month to Ming Yuzheng of the Ming clan. Yi Qiangwei went straight to the point as soon as she entered the courtyard. Her willowy eyebrows were tightly knitted together. Moreover, Ming Yuzheng even brought an envoy under the command of the new supreme powerhouse of the Ming clan. He said that this is the will of the new supreme powerhouse of the Ming clan. When Yi Qiangwei mentioned the new supreme powerhouse of the Ming clan, there was a hint of fear in her tone. The Ming clan of the past was nothing. However, due to the birth of a new supreme powerhouse, the Ming clan of today was like a carp leaping over the dragon gate. They could no longer be underestimated. That's what I heard. Wang Luoyu nodded. However, the clan has already expressed that the clan supports Big Brother Li Feng and will not listen to the Ming clan's unreasonable request. As she finished speaking, the corners of Wang Luoyu's mouth curled up into a smile as if she was relieved of a heavy burden. I heard that too. Yi Qiangwei nodded. I came to look for you because of this. Sister Luoyu, what kind of person is that Big Brother Li Feng of yours? He can actually make the Wang clan be willing to offend the Ming clan of Kanglan City, who now has a supreme powerhouse, for him. Chapter 44-28. Big Brother Li Feng. Faced with Yi Qiangwei's question, Wang Luoyu was first stunned before she smiled shyly. Sister Qiangwei, actually, I'm not too sure about Big Brother Li Feng's background. You're not sure about his background? Yi Qiangwei's eyes widened in disbelief. You mean, you don't even know his background and you intend to marry him? At this moment, Yi Qiangwei was slightly stunned. For the first time, she felt she didn't know her best friend before her. In her impression, her best friend called Wang Luoyu was absolutely not such a rash person. I only know that he's from outside the heavenly sand region. Wang Luoyu smiled lightly. As for the rest, I haven't asked yet. At the same time, I feel there's no need. After all, I like him as a person and not his background. The current Wang Luoyu was smiling like a little girl who'd lost her rationality because of love. The more she was like this, the more curious Yi Qiangwei was about the Big Brother Li Feng that Wang Luoyu mentioned. Although this Li Feng was praised by Sister Luoyu to be unparalleled in the world, if he's really compared to that young man called Duan Lingtian, I'm afraid he's still lacking by quite a bit, right? After seeing Wang Luoyu's infatuation with that Li Feng, a violet figure couldn't help but appear in Yi Qiangwei's mind. She felt that Li Feng was definitely inferior to Duan Lingtian. I'll be able to see that Li Feng in half a month's time. At that time, I want to see exactly what kind of person can actually make Sister Luoyu so infatuated with him. In Yi Qiangwei's heart, she became more and more curious about Li Feng. After Yi Qiangwei left, Wang Luoyu hurriedly left her residence and went to look for Duan Lingtian. Elder brother Duan, that Ming Yuzheng of the Azure Water City's Ming clan won't cause trouble, right? After all, he has a new supreme expert behind him. When Wang Luoyu saw Duan Lingtian, she voiced her concern. If that ultimate powerhouse were to take action for him, elder brother Duan, I'm afraid you would be in great danger. How about we change our plan? Although Wang Luoyu also wanted to escape the cage that was the Wang family, she did not wish for anything to happen to the kind-hearted youth in front of her. In her opinion, it was already very difficult for the other party to fulfill his promise to her brother. She didn't want to see the other party throwing himself into danger. No need. Duan Lingtian shook his head. Let's proceed according to the original plan. Not to mention the fact that the ultimate master might not personally make a move for him. Even if he did, the Wang family is not to be trifled with. Duan Lingtian was very clear in his heart. Originally, half a month later, even if the Wang clan invited those supreme experts who were familiar with the ancestors of the Wang clan, they might not necessarily show up, but now, for the sake of safety, the Wang clan would definitely invite at least one supreme expert to hold the fort. After all, The peerless genius named Li Feng was far more valuable in the eyes of the Wang clan than the mere threat from the Azure Water City's Ming clan. Duan Lingtian explained the pros and cons to Wang Luoyu. Only then did Wang Luoyu relax. At the same time, she felt that this person whom her brother Wang Yiyuan had entrusted before his death was far more reliable than she had imagined. On the other side, Meng Yujing had never imagined that even if the Wang clan's grand elder came personally, he would act like the Wang clan leader, Wang Kuei. Not only did he not support him in marrying Wang Luoyu, but he also did not allow him to forcibly meet the youth named Li Feng. Although only the Wang clan's grand elder came, the other party's meaning was very clear. He alone was enough to represent the two Wang clan's grand elders. That old fellow named Wang Jingrao. I didn't expect him to act like Wang Kuei and not show any respect to me and the ancestor. Currently, Meng Yujing was personally sent out of the Wang clan by Wang Kuei. Although Wang Kuei had invited him to attend the wedding of Wang Luoyu and another man in half a month's time, it was no different from humiliation. Therefore, after Meng Yujing left the Wang clan and found an inn in Blue Sky City to stay, he was extremely embarrassed and furious. This won't do. I can't let this matter rest. I can't take this lying down. The more Meng Yujing thought about it, the angrier he became. At the same time, he looked at the middle-aged man beside him. Uncle Tan, can you contact the ancestor and ask him to personally come to the Wang clan in half a month's time to pressure the Wang clan? The middle-aged man was none other than the Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Xiaodong. He had come with Meng Yujing. When Meng Yujing was sent out of the Wang clan, he was sent out as well. When Tan Xiaodong heard Meng Yujing's words, he raised his eyebrows slightly. I've already reported this matter to the Honorable Lord. The Honorable Lord is very angry that the Wang clan did not show him any respect. As for whether the Honorable Lord will personally come in half a month's time, that will depend on the Honorable Lord himself. Tan Xiaodong paused for a moment before he continued. Moreover, the Honorable Lord also said, the Wang clan would definitely not support a foreign boy for no reason. That kid most likely has an extraordinary background or something special. Moreover, although the Wang clan no longer has any supreme powerhouses, if anything happens to the Wang clan, the few supreme powerhouses that the ancestor of the Wang clan is on good terms with who are still alive might not just stand by and do nothing. Tan Xiaodong's words made Meng Yujing feel even more aggrieved. He suddenly felt that having a supreme powerhouse as his backing was not as good as before. Meng Yujing's eyes flashed as he thought of the blow he had suffered from the Wang clan today. The ancestor is afraid of the Wang clan, but I am not afraid of that guy called Li Feng. This is the Sky Sand territory. He is someone from outside the Sky Sand territory. Even if he is a dragon crossing the river, in front of our Lan City's Ming clan, he still has to be obedient. In half a month's time, I'd like to see what kind of person he is. I'd like to see if he can withstand the anger and threat of our Lan City's Ming clan. He is the husband of a lowly female descendant of the Wang clan. If something really happens to him, will the Wang clan really fall out with me and even our Lan City's Ming clan? When a person dies, a lot of value will no longer exist. As Meng Yujing muttered to himself, his expression became more and more ferocious. His eyes were filled with killing intent, as if he was about to devour someone. Uncle Tan. Meng Yujing looked at Tan Xiaodong and pleaded with a sincere expression, in half a month's time, I will send a message to that guy to force him to take the initiative to break off the engagement. It's fine if he knows what's good for him. If he doesn't, I'd like to ask Uncle Tan to make a move and kill him. At this moment, Meng Yujing was jealous of the young man named Li Feng whom he had never met before. At the same time, he also had the intention to kill him. However, Tan Xiaodong frowned when he heard this. That person is able to make the Wang clan willingly bear the pressure of their pride to marry Wang Luoyu to him. I'm afraid he's not an ordinary person. Before we find out his background, I don't recommend making a move on him. After all, Tan Xiaodong had lived for a long time, so he had a clearer view of many things. When Meng Yujing heard this, his brows furrowed slightly before they relaxed. He grinned. As far as I know, you're quite well versed in the Tao of assassination. I'm sure you'll be able to kill him under the circumstances where others can't find any clues, right? When Tan Xiaodong heard this, his brows raised. Even so, it's still slightly risky. If the other party's background is not ordinary and is even stronger than the Ming clan, it will bring disaster to the Ming clan. The true powerhouse wants to avenge his descendant. As long as there's suspicion, there's no need for evidence. Tan Xiaoding voiced his concerns. Uncle Tan, if you're willing to make a move, I have a treasure here that you'll definitely be interested in. I can give it to you. Ming Yujing raised his hand, and an item flashed in his hand. As soon as it appeared, it was put away into the self-destructed spatial ring. He was not afraid of Tan Xiaoding forcefully snatching it away. Tan Xiaoding's pupils contracted rapidly at this moment. Even his breathing became extremely hurried. His chest rose and fell continuously like a bellows. Where did you get this thing from? At this moment, Tan Xiaoding's eyes were slightly red. Chapter 44-29. Tan Xiaoding had never imagined that Ming Yujing would be able to take out something like this. This was the godhead of a supreme master. Moreover, it was a fire-type ultimate divinity. He was originally skilled in fire-type laws of nature, and now his attainments in fire-type laws were extremely deep, having reached the minor perfection stage. Moreover, because his fire-type laws of nature had mutated even more, it gave him a greater chance of reaching the great perfection stage. To him, the fire-type ultimate divinity was absolutely a treasure that surpassed everything else. At least, to him now, it surpassed everything else. This was because once he had the fire-type ultimate divinity, his chances of reaching the great perfection stage in fire-type laws of nature would increase infinitely. He would have more than a 70% chance of reaching the great perfection stage. Huff, huff, huff. Therefore, at this moment, Tan Xiaoding's breathing was very rapid, and he could not calm down for a long time. Of course, after a while, Tan Xiaoding's emotions gradually calmed down. At the same time, he looked at Ming Yujing and said in a low voice, "Just now, I didn't see clearly what that was. Can you let me see again?" Although he said that, there was a hidden greed in the depths of Tan Xiaoding's eyes. For the fire-type ultimate divinity, even if he had to kill the person in front of him, offend the Ming family of Kanglan City, leave the Sky Sand Realm, and become a fugitive, it would be worth it. As long as he comprehended the great perfection fire-type laws of nature, he would become an invincible high-level supreme god. At that time, he could totally find an even more powerful ultimate god as his backer. Even if Ming Tianfeng of the Ming family of Kanglan City saw him again, he would not dare to attack him. Invincible high-level supreme gods were much fewer in number than ultimate gods in the Outer Realm and the 10,000 Realms. Uncle Tan. Ming Yujing was no fool. He smiled faintly and said, "You're skilled in fire-type laws of nature, so I'm sure you're more sensitive to it than anyone else. If you're not sure, then I'll tell you personally. That's an ultimate divinity, and it's a fire-type ultimate divinity. As for the origin of this ultimate divinity, I'm sure you can guess without me telling you. My ancestor gave it to me." The reason the old ancestor was able to become a paramount powerhouse is largely due to the fire-type paramount powerhouse divinity he obtained 10,000 years ago. However, after he became a paramount powerhouse, the fire-type paramount powerhouse divinity was no longer of much use to him, so he gave it to me. Ming Tianfeng, the newly ascended omnipotent of the Ming family in Azure Water City, was also proficient in the laws of fire. Because I'm the most outstanding amongst his direct descendants, and I'm skilled in the laws of fire. Hearing Ming Yujing's words, Tan Xiaoding raised an eyebrow. The Supreme Powerhouse's divinity that the Supreme Powerhouse gave you is not for you to casually give away. In the future, don't joke about this kind of thing anymore. If his honor were to find out that you want to give that thing to someone else, I'm afraid that he would not be happy. Tan Xiaoding suddenly calmed down. Since it was given to him by that supreme expert, how could this Ming Yujing give it to him so easily? Most of what he said just now was just a joke. Moreover, Huang Xiaolong believed that the other party was also aware of the value of a supreme expert's godhead. Uncle Tan. Ming Yujing smiled. Perhaps I misspoke when I said that I would give you the Supreme Powerhouse's divinity. What I'm thinking is that if you can help me get rid of that brat who's going to marry Wang Luoyu in half a month, I'll lend you the Supreme Powerhouse's divinity so that you can use it to comprehend and become a Supreme Powerhouse or an invincible higher supreme god. At that time, you can return it to me." Meng Yuzhing's expression turned serious as he said this. "Of course, if you agree, Uncle Tan, you'll have to make a heavenly blood oath and promise that you'll return the Supreme Powerhouse's divinity to me after you become a Supreme Powerhouse or an invincible higher Supreme God. Otherwise, even if you kill that Li Feng, I won't lend you the Supreme Powerhouse's divinity." The heavenly blood oath was a kind of oath in the outer realm. Once it was fulfilled, one would be restricted by the laws of heaven and earth. Once the oath was broken, even if one fled the outer realm and hid in the land of the infinite worlds, it would be difficult to escape death. In the land of the infinite worlds, unless one was a supreme powerhouse, it was difficult to make a heavenly blood oath with blood. Therefore, the heavenly blood oath was rarely mentioned in the land of the infinite worlds. Moreover, in the land of the infinite worlds, it was usually the supreme powerhouses who maintained the order. For example, in the God-reversing realm, there were supreme powerhouses who maintained the oath. At the same time, Tan Xiaoting, who heard Meng Yuzhing's words, frowned slightly at first, but after a while, he relaxed. "I can promise you this." As for whether Meng Yuzhing would go back on his word after the matter was done, he was not worried because even if Meng Yuzhing was protected by a supreme powerhouse, he would not dare to say that he would be followed and protected everywhere. There was no benefit in offending Tan Xiaoting. Moreover, now that Tan Xiaoting was under the command of the supreme powerhouse, Meng Tianfeng, he could be considered half a member of the Meng family. Meng Yuzhing would not tease him about this matter. "Thank you, Uncle Tan." Meng Yuzhing smiled brightly. He did not expect Tan Xiaoting to reject him because he knew how tempting the supreme powerhouse's divinity was to him. Tan Xiaoting was also a well-known figure in the Sky Sand realm. People called him the Azure Flame Saber Monarch, and he was famous for being arrogant and unruly. If not for the fact that the supreme powerhouse ancestor of the Ming family was also proficient in the law of fire, someone as arrogant and unruly as him might not have been willing to become a subordinate. In the past, there had been supreme powerhouses born in the Sky Sand realm, but no one had heard of him doing anything. Obviously, he was not very willing to become a subordinate of a supreme powerhouse. Moreover, he had heard from the Ming family's ancestor that Tan Xiaoting had become his subordinate because he wanted to consult him about the law of fire. At this moment, Duan Lingtian still did not know that he had been targeted by Meng Yuzhing of the Ming family of Kanglan City, whom he had refused to meet. Furthermore, he was going to hire someone to kill him. Of course, even if he knew, he would not care. It would be good enough if someone who was not even as strong as the two supreme elders of the Wang family could escape from him. Duan Lingtian silently waited for the arrival of the wedding day that would be half a month later. At that time, he would be able to leave with Wang Luoyu. As long as he settled Wang Luoyu down, he would be able to get back on track and continue on his own path. After that, the favor of the deceased Wang Yiyuan giving him the treasure would be written off. They would not owe each other anything. Half a month's time passed in the blink of an eye. The day of the Wang family's daughter's wedding came soon after. In fact, a few days before this, Lan Xiaoqing was already bustling with activity. The guests that the Wang family had invited from various places came to Lan Xiaoqing in an endless stream and stayed in the inn that the Wang family had arranged for them. The patriarch of the Wang family, Wang Kuei, respectfully brought a sage-like old man back to the Wang family on the day before the wedding of Duan Lingtian's alias Li Feng and Wang Luoyu. Moreover, the supreme elder of the Wang family, Wang Jingrao, whom Duan Lingtian had fought before, immediately came to the door and respectfully kowtowed to the old man. End of chapter. Chapter 44:30. Your little Jingjing? The old man with the air of a transcendent, being asked in surprise, as he looked at the old man who was also over 60 years old kneeling on the ground. "It's me, Senior Situ." Wang Jingrao replied respectfully as he knelt on the ground. "I didn't expect you to remember me, Senior Situ." Back then, when he was young, he was fortunate enough to meet this person in front of him. At that time, this person was not an ultimate powerhouse yet. He was a powerhouse who had joined the Wang clan's ultimate powerhouse patriarch and was also one of the external consecrators of the Wang clan. At that time, due to his outstanding talent, the Wang clan's ultimate powerhouse did not treat him as a servant. Instead, He treated him as a disciple and gave him pointers with great care. Because of this person had always been grateful to the Wang clan's ultimate powerhouse patriarch. Later on, this person successfully became an omnipotent expert and left the Wang clan. However, from then on, he became good friends with the Wang clan's omnipotent expert ancestor. Both in public and in private, he would respectfully address the Wang clan's omnipotent expert ancestor as teacher. Now, the reason the Wang clan lost their ultimate powerhouse and their former status was mainly due to this person in front of him. Of course I remember. The old man smiled slightly. I still remember the first time I met you. You were being bullied by a Wang clan disciple who was a few years older than you. At that time, you were crying and yelling that you, little Jingjing, would get back at him within 3 years. That was the first time I came to the Wang clan. At that time, when I heard what you said, I had an impression of you. A few years later, I even specially asked the Wang clan's elder who received me. I didn't expect you to surpass that Wang clan disciple in just 2 years. The old man spoke casually, but Wang Jingrao, who was kneeling on the ground, was excited when he heard this. He did not expect the old man to still remember him. After all, this was his first time meeting the old man after so many years. In the past, although he knew of the old man's existence, he always happened to have something to do or was in closed-door cultivation. Therefore, the person who took the initiative to meet the old man was his elder brother, the other Wang clan's grand elder. Good luck. The old man still had a smile on his face. Now that you've come this far, it won't be difficult for you to advance further. I'll be in the Wang clan for the next few days. If you have any questions about cultivation, you can look for me anytime. Thank you, Senior Situ. Hearing this, Wang Jingrao immediately became excited. The person in front of him had stepped into the omnipotent realm many years ago. Although he was not far from the omnipotent realm, there was still a large gap between them. If you can become a supreme expert, even if Teacher's Spirit in heaven knows that the Wang clan has produced a second supreme expert, he will be gratified, the old man said with a smile. At the same time, there was a hint of sadness in the depths of his eyes. However, neither Wang Jingrao nor the head of the Wang family, Wang Kuei, noticed it. He was worried that he wouldn't be able to protect the Wang clan for much longer. Once he died, the Wang family's status in the Blue Dawn City, and even the Heavenly Sand territory, would plummet. Although there were still a few other supreme experts in the Wang family who were in contact with him, he knew very well that without his supervision, the other supreme experts would no longer care about the Wang family. They would no longer leave behind the last piece of cloth to cover their shame. After all, the one who had helped those people in the past was only the ancestor of the Wang family who was an ultimate expert, and not anyone in the current generation of the Wang family. His existence more or less caused those people to have some scruples about their own reputation. They were afraid that if they ignored the Wang family, he would tell others about how ungrateful those people were. Once he died, those people would no longer have any scruples. Therefore, he hoped from the bottom of his heart that the Wang family could produce a second supreme expert, and Wang Jingrao was also one of the 2 most promising people in the current generation of the Wang family. While Wang Jingrao and the old man were conversing, the head of the Wang family felt a little guilty. Little Jingjing? This was the first time he had heard the pet name of his Grand Supreme Elder. He thought to himself, I didn't expect this ancestor to have such a cute and feminine pet name in the past. If the descendants of the Wang family who worshipped this ancestor of the Wang family found out, their worldview would probably be completely destroyed. While Wang Kuei was still letting his imagination run wild, Wang Jingrao and the old man had finished catching up. At the same time, she woke Wang Kuei up. Family head, Senior Situ has come from afar. Let's send him to my place to rest. Originally, the Wang clan had a guest courtyard that was used to entertain supreme powerhouses. However, since it had been given to Duanling Tian, who had changed his name to Li Feng, Wang Jingrao immediately arranged for a distinguished supreme powerhouse guest to stay in his courtyard. Moreover, this way, it would be much more convenient for him to seek guidance from the other party regarding cultivation. Wang Kuei came back to his senses and led the way for the old man with Wang Jingrao. On the way, Wang Jingrao's voice transmission sounded in Wang Kuei's ears. Wang Kuei, just now, did you hear what Senior Situ called me? Hearing this, Wang Kuei was startled at first, then as if he had just woken up from a dream. This was a warning to him. As the family head, Wang Kuei naturally had a high EQ. After being stunned for a moment, he came back to his senses and hurriedly replied through voice transmission, "Grand Elder, I was just thinking about the wedding between Wang Luoyu and Brother Li Feng tomorrow. I was wondering if there were some things that could be arranged more appropriately. Did Senior Situ call you anything just now?" Wang Kuei had a blank expression on his face, as though he really did not know anything. "Nothing." Wang Jingrao nodded his head in satisfaction. However, his gaze was still filled with deep meaning. "This time, it's been hard on you to personally bring Senior Situ over. Later on, after you send Senior Situ to my place, you can rest for a while and wait for the arrival of Brother Li Feng and Luo Yu's wedding day tomorrow." "Yes, Grand Elder." Wang Kuei hurriedly replied again, but his back was already drenched in cold sweat. He wondered if this Grand Elder would kill him to silence him if he did not know what was good for him. That should not be the case. However, it would not be so easy for him to get away with it. At this moment, Duan Lingtian did not know that because Ming Yujing from the Ming clan of Zhonglan City had come to the Wang clan to cause a ruckus and said that the new supreme powerhouse from the Ming clan would back him up, the Wang clan had specially invited a supreme powerhouse to oversee the wedding of Li Feng and Wang Luoyu. In fact, he did not take Ming Yujing seriously at all. As for the new supreme powerhouse from the Ming clan of Zhonglan City, he also felt that there was a high probability that he would not appear at the wedding tomorrow. Even if he did appear, he was certain that the other party would not dare to make a move on him. After all, he had a mysterious origin and was not even 10,000 years old, but he already possessed such shocking strength. If it was any ordinary person, they would not think that he did not have any background. What a joke. How could someone who did not have any background or resources have such achievements at such a young age? Once the new supreme powerhouse from the Ming clan had any doubts or fears, as long as he was given time, he would have already fled with Wang Luoyu. At that time, even if the other party reacted, it would be too late. After tomorrow, the plan this time is more or less complete. After settling Wang Luoyu down, I'll have fulfilled my promise to Wang Yiyuan. After that, I can continue on my own path. I only hope that Ming Yujing from the Ming clan knows what's good for him. If he continues to pester me for no reason and goes too far, I don't mind consigning him to eternal damnation before I leave." Although he had never met Ming Yujing, the Ming clan's disciple who had come with ill intentions, he could tell that Ming Yujing was difficult to deal with from the words of Wang Kuei, the Wang clan leader. Tomorrow was the day of the wedding. It would be fine if Ming Yujing behaved himself, but if he did not, he would not mind teaching him a lesson. An invincible high-level supreme god. In the blink of an eye, Duan Lingtian collected his thoughts and thought about his next goal. The current me is still some distance away from being an invincible high-level supreme god. Although the temporal and spatial laws are close to the perfection realm, I have not officially stepped into that realm. If both of them step into the perfection realm, my true combat strength should be comparable to some of the invincible high-level supreme gods who did not rely on the perfection realm's nomological profundity. When he thought of this, Duan Lingtian's eyes suddenly lit up. Not all invincible higher-level supreme gods had mastered a single law to the perfection realm. Among the invincible high-level supreme gods, the most powerful ones were those who had mastered a particular law to the perfection realm. Even if they did not rely on the four Tao of heaven and earth, their strength was still extremely shocking. Even those who had mastered the four Tao of heaven and earth, such as the sword principle that he had mastered, were far from being a match for them with the perfection realm's nomological profundity. Even he felt that even if he had comprehended the temporal and spatial laws to the perfection realm, he would not be a match for those invincible high-level supreme gods with the sword principle that he had mastered. Those invincible high-level supreme gods were the top existences among the invincible high-level supreme gods. When they mastered the laws to the extreme, quantitative changes would lead to qualitative changes. Their strength was extremely terrifying. It's said that the four Tao of heaven and earth can also be perfected. However, there has never been anyone who has mastered any of the four Tao of heaven and earth to the perfection realm in the outer realm or even in the history of the 10,000 worlds. Some people say that if someone has mastered the four Tao of heaven and earth to the extreme, Even if their nomological profundity has only reached the perfection realm, their strength may not be inferior to those who have mastered the laws to the perfection realm. If one has mastered the laws to the perfection realm and mastered the four Tao of heaven and earth to the perfection realm, one's strength may reach the level of invincibility below the ultimate experts. One may even be able to fight against an ordinary ultimate expert. Of course, what Duan Lingtian said to himself at the end was just speculation that he had read in some ancient books. The real situation was not necessarily so. Moreover, an ordinary person can become an ultimate expert without mastering the four Tao of heaven and earth to the perfection realm. How many people can give up the opportunity to become an ultimate expert and continue to study the four Tao of heaven and earth to the perfection realm with the cultivation of a high-level supreme God? Even if everyone knows that studying the four Tao of heaven and earth will become more difficult after becoming an ultimate expert. Chapter 44:31. Duan Lingtian still had a long way to go before he could become an ultimate expert. However, from another point of view, it was almost inevitable that he would become an ultimate expert. Putting aside the fact that he had mastered an extraordinary sword Tao, which was enough for him to become an omnipotent expert, even the 5 divine elements in his body would be able to push him forward and become an omnipotent expert as long as he could improve further. Many higher ultimate gods sought the opportunity to become an ultimate expert, but it seemed to be worthless to Duan Lingtian. However, the current Duan Lingtian did not have much desire to become an ultimate expert. What he desired most now was to become an invincible higher godly venerable. The number of invincible higher ultimate gods in the outer realm, and even the land of the 10,000 realms, was far less than an ultimate expert. It was even said that the number of invincible higher ultimate gods was less than 1/10 of the number of ultimate experts. What did this mean? Under such a concept, one could see how precious invincible higher ultimate gods were. In the outer realm and even the land of the 10,000 realms, there's a saying, if you're confident of becoming an invincible higher ultimate god, it's best not to rush to become an ultimate expert. This is because once you become an ultimate expert, whether it's the four Tao of heaven and earth or the law profundity, it'll be a world of difference compared to before you break through. The ideal situation is to reach the perfection stage in the law profundity and the four Tao of heaven and earth before seeking a breakthrough. However, in the history of the outer realm and even the land of the 10,000 realms, such an existence has never appeared. There's a legend that if such an existence appears in the land of the 10,000 realms, he'll have the strength of a universe master as soon as he breaks through to the ultimate expert realm. The universe master realm is the name of the ultimate expert realm. In the land of the 10,000 realms, there are only a few dozen people who can reach this level. If a person has the strength of a universe master, as soon as he breaks through to become an ultimate expert, what does that mean? Just thinking about it made Duan Lingtian's scalp tingle. After coming to the outer realm, as he gained a deeper understanding of the outer realm, he also gained a deeper understanding of the outer realm. He learned a lot of things about the outer realm. This included the fact that once one became an ultimate expert, it was extremely difficult to increase one's strength. Among the ultimate experts, there were different levels. The ultimate experts of the universe master realm were the top existences among the ultimate experts. It is said that, in the vast myriad worlds, only the 3 most powerful realms and the 18 realms below them have such existences. It is because of this that the 21 realms are able to dominate the myriad worlds, and even make the other realms willingly submit to them, and even offer up the realm power of their realms. At the same time, Duan Lingtian thought of something else. Universe masters are so powerful. If they are willing to help, they should be able to forcibly remove the soul imprisonment in Ker's body, right? If they can, when I become an invincible higher ultimate god, I just have to choose to work under a universe master and let that expert help me. Ker will be able to successfully free herself from the soul imprisonment. At this thought, Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up again. At the same time, his desire to become an invincible higher ultimate god became even more resolute. He could not wait to cultivate and comprehend the precepts. Of course, after a moment of restlessness, he quickly calmed down. Now, I should first deal with the matter that Wang Yuan asked me to do. After settling Wang Luoyu down, I will continue to wander in the outer realm and continue on my path of becoming stronger. After calming down, Duan Lingtian closed his eyes and rested, waiting for the next day to come. Currently, there were still scattered sounds outside the room and in the courtyard. Those were the people that the Wang family had arranged for to decorate his new room. As for the inside of the room, when the wedding ceremony began the next day, there would naturally be people who would decorate it. Now, no one would disturb Duan Lingtian's peace and quiet. This was also specially instructed by Wang Kuei, the Wang family head. The night passed in the blink of an eye amidst many people's anticipation. Duan Lingtian also walked out of his room early in the morning. Under the Wang family's arrangements, he successfully changed into a festive red ceremonial robe. His long hair was also tidied up, making his already extraordinarily handsome face appear even more heroic and awe-inspiring. Young Master Li Feng, I will now bring you through the process of the Wang family's wedding ceremony. If there's anything you don't understand, you can tell me. A middle-aged woman walked beside Duan Lingtian and said with a smile, "Actually, the wedding ceremony may seem complicated, but you just need to go through the motions. Of course, there are still some distinguished guests that we would like to invite you and Miss Luoyu to greet and entertain." The middle-aged woman's words allowed Duan Lingtian to see the importance that the Wang family placed on this wedding. Of course, he did not object to this. To him, all of this was just a formality. Perhaps after today, he would have to leave the Wang family, and Wang Luoyu would disappear forever before the Wang family's eyes. In the future, he might still have some interactions with the Wang family, but that would be because he was indebted to the Wang family's grand elder, Wang Jingrao, and had to repay the Wang family to the best of his ability. Chapter 44:32. To the people of the Wang family, that son-in-law by the name of Li Feng was very mysterious. It was said that he had taken the initiative to approach them. Some people even said that despite his young age, he was already as powerful as the Wang family's grand elder. When he first arrived at the Wang family's grand elder was already at a disadvantage. It was said that one of the patrolling disciples who had been present at the time spread the news. However, when someone asked the patrolling disciples who had been present that day to confirm it, none of them confirmed it. It was as if they had been given a gag order. This made most of the members of the Wang family even more curious about the identity of this son-in-law. If the rumors were true, then this son-in-law was not even 10,000 years old, but he was already as powerful as the Wang family's grand elder. Such a person would be a first-rate genius even in the entire Tianxia realm. If he really is such a monstrous person, coupled with his possible background, even if he comes from outside the Tianxia realm, he is indeed worthy of our Wang family's attention. The clan definitely won't act rashly. Between this new son-in-law and the Ming clan of Azure Water City, the clan chose the new son-in-law. This shows that the new son-in-law is far more important than the Ming clan of Azure Water City. There were still many rational people in the Wang family. Through this incident, it was not difficult to guess the importance of this son-in-law in the eyes of the upper echelons of the Wang family. This time, all the reputable forces within the Tianxia realm had received invitations from the Wang family, including a group of powerful forces with supreme powerhouses. Although the Wang family did not have any supreme experts, the forces with supreme experts who had received invitations still sent people over. Even the supreme experts who stood at the top of the pyramid in the Tianxia realm did not fear the Wang family when they had supreme experts. This time, they also sent people over. However, the people they sent were not the core members of their respective forces. Even so, they still gave the Wang family enough face. After all, the Wang family did not have any supreme experts now. This time, the Wang family was able to be so busy mainly because of the supreme expert ancestor of the Wang family. The glory he had left behind had allowed the Wang family to flourish until now. Many people felt that if the Wang clan wanted to completely decline, they would have to sever all ties with the supreme experts of the Wang clan. Or, before that happened, the Wang clan had yet to produce a supreme expert. Otherwise, even if the Wang family did not have a supreme expert, there would not be many people or forces within the Tianxia region who would underestimate him. How troublesome. Although the woman in charge of arranging things for him said that everything should be simple, even this simple wedding ceremony still made Duan Lingtian feel that it was cumbersome and troublesome. Fortunately, the Wang clan had sent people to do most of the work, so Duan Lingtian saved a lot of effort. What he wanted to do was to be a vase. He would stand there and follow Wang Kuei, the head of the Wang family, to receive the guests from all the powerful forces in the Sky Sand realm. Wang family head, congratulations. Wang family head, your Wang family's son-in-law this time is clearly not an ordinary person. Duan Lingtian didn't know the people who came at the beginning, so he just greeted them with Wang Kuei. However, when a loud voice sounded from behind him, it woke him up from his reverie. Taiyu from the Qiming Mountain and his descendant, Taming Sha, congratulate the Wang family on behalf of the Qiming Mountain. A loud voice resonated in the air as a middle-aged burly man walked in with a young burly man in tow. When both of them saw Duan Lingtian, it was obvious that they were momentarily stunned. The young burly man behind them stared at Duan Lingtian with wide eyes. Qiming Mountain. At this moment, Duan Lingtian was shocked by the two people in front of him, who came from the Qiming Mountain. When he heard the voice mention the name, Taming Sha, he only felt that it sounded familiar. He didn't think much of it. However, when the young burly man stared at him with his sharp eyes and unruly gaze, Duan Lingtian could not help but recall the scenes that happened in Dancing Sun City. At that time, he had defeated a giant ape, but he did not take its life. That giant ape, it seemed to be called Taming Sha. It's him. At the same time, Duan Lingtian also confirmed the identity of the middle-aged burly man in front of Taming Sha. He was one of the three great demons who followed the demon master from Qiming Mountain to flatten Dancing Sun City. Qiming Mountain was one of the demon master's three great right-hand men. When he was still in Dancing Sun City, he only knew that Qiming Mountain was very strong, but he didn't know how strong Qiming Mountain was. It was not until later that he found out that any of the three great demons under Qiming Mountain's Qiming Demon Venerable had the strength of an invincible high-level ultimate god. Greetings, Senior Taiyu. Wang Kuei, the Wang clan leader, said respectfully. This confirmed Duan Lingtian that Taiyu's strength was close to that of an invincible high-level ultimate god. Until now, there were only a few guests who could make Wang Kuei so respectful. This showed how important Taiyu was in Wang Kuei's heart. Haha, clan leader Wang, congratulations. Our demon master is busy and can't leave, so he ordered me to participate in this grand wedding of yours. I hope the Wang clan won't take offense. Taiyu laughed. His laughter was as loud as thunder, attracting the attention of many guests who were walking in front of him. However, when these people saw Taiyu's face clearly, fear appeared in their eyes one after another. Qiming Mountain, Taiyu. This was a powerful great demon with a bad temper. Anyone who had provoked him in the past would not have a good ending. Senior Taiyu, you must be joking. Your presence brings light to the Wang clan's humble dwelling. Wang Kuei grinned warmly and introduced Duan Lingtian to Taiyu. Senior Taiyu, this is one of the main characters of our Wang clan today, Li Feng. Brother Li Feng, say hello to Senior Taiyu. Wang Kuei said. At this moment, Taiyu's eyes fell on Duan Lingtian, giving Duan Lingtian a slight pressure. However, it was only a slight pressure. Duan Lingtian looked at Taiyu and smiled. Li Feng greets Senior Taiyu. It's been a long time since we last met. Senior Taiyu is still as elegant as ever. Wang Kuei was stunned when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Taiyu took a deep look at Duan Lingtian and said, during the Battle of Dancing Sun City, I knew that you were not an ordinary person. It's a pity that you left early, so I didn't have time to thank you for sparing Taming Sha's life. As he finished speaking, he turned his head and looked at the young man behind him. Taming Sha, why don't you thank Brother Li Feng for sparing your life that day? Hearing Taiyu's words, everyone was shocked. Wang Kuei's expression changed greatly. Chapter 44:33. Not killing him? Who could not understand the meaning behind this? That was because Li Feng was able to kill Taming Sha, but he didn't kill him. However, even though it sounded like a huge favor, Wang Kuei's expression changed when he heard this. It was as if he had guessed what was going to happen next. Even those who had come to watch the show were watching the development of the situation with great interest. Tai Yu from the Qi Ming Mountain actually asked his adopted son, Ta Ming Sha, to thank the son-in-law of the Wang clan for sparing his life. This person almost killed Ta Ming Sha. He is not even 10,000 years old, and yet he is so powerful. Amazing. I just don't know if Ta Yu will stand up for his adopted son. I don't think so. Didn't you hear what Ta Yu said? He even thanked the other party for sparing his adopted son's life. Isn't that sarcastic? Although we can't see Ta Yu's anger now, who can be sure that this is not the calm before the storm? Other than the Wang clan members who were on high alert, the rest of the people were just watching the show. After all, this had nothing to do with them. It was a matter between the son-in-law of the Wang clan and the Qi Ming Mountain. Li Feng, thank you for sparing my life. Ta Ming Sha frowned. In the end, he stepped forward and thanked Duan Lingtian under the gaze of his adopted father. However, his frown did not ease for a long time. One day, I will defeat you, Ta Ming Sha said proudly. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly when he heard that. I look forward to that day. Defeat him? Did Ta Ming Sha think that he had used all his strength in the past? Right now, even if Tai Yu personally attacked him, he would still be able to escape unscathed, let alone Ta Ming Sha. If he was given more time to improve his strength, he would not be afraid of Tai Yu. He might even be able to defeat him. Wang clan leader. At this time, Tai Yu looked at Wang Kuei again and said with a sigh, I really didn't expect that the son-in-law of the Wang family is this little brother. Let me congratulate the Wang family in advance for having such a powerful son-in-law. The aptitude of a supreme expert. Tai Yu's words caused an uproar among the crowd. They didn't expect Tai Yu to have such a high opinion of the Wang family's son-in-law. Of course, most people felt that Tai Yu was just being polite. Thank you for your praise, Senior Tai Yu. Wang Kuei thanked Tai Yu on behalf of Duan Lingtian. Tai Yu continued, I'm not praising him. This is what the demon Venerable said to us personally. He said that this little brother has the potential to become an omnipotent expert. After Tai Yu's explanation, the entire place was in an uproar. No one had expected that the Qi Ming monster Venerable of the Qi Ming Mountain, a powerful omnipotent expert, would praise a young man who was not even 10,000 years old. For a moment, everyone looked at Duan Lingtian in a different light. After all, this was someone who was acknowledged by even the most powerful beings. Perhaps, in the future, the second most powerful person in the Wang clan would be him. At this time, Duan Lingtian just smiled faintly and looked at Tai Yu, saying, Senior Tai Yu, please send my regards to Lord Demon Venerable. In the past, I left in a hurry because I had something urgent to attend to, so I didn't pay my respects to Lord Demon Venerable. I hope he can forgive me. At this time, Duan Lingtian was so scared that he broke out in cold sweat. He didn't expect that he would be targeted by the Qi Ming monster Venerable of the Qi Ming Mountain in the Dancing Sun City. He didn't know if the Qi Ming monster Venerable didn't have the time to deal with him, or if he didn't want to bother with him. Okay, Tai Yu responded and then led Ta Ming Sha inside. As he walked, he looked back at Duan Lingtian and said with a friendly smile, Little brother Li Feng, if you have time in the future, you can come find me at the Qi Ming Mountain anytime. I'm sure Lord Demon Venerable would like to meet little brother Li Feng. At this time, Tai Yu was much more polite. The reason for his politeness was because before he came, he had heard that the Wang clan did not even give face to the new supreme powerhouse of the Ming clan in the Azure Water City because of Li Feng. It was obvious the Wang clan's son-in-law's background was not simple. It was only when he saw the Wang clan's son-in-law that he realized he had seen him before. He had even spared his foster son, Ta Ming Sha, when the Qi Ming Mountain destroyed the Dancing Sun City. It was precisely because he knew the other party was outstanding, and he guessed the other party had an extraordinary background that Tai Yu's attitude toward Duan Lingtian was much better. Of course, Duan Lingtian responded with a smile. He only returned to his senses after Tai Yu and Ta Ming Sha's silhouettes disappeared from his sight. He continued to welcome the guests with Wang Kuei. Soon after, Wang Kuei frowned slightly. This was because the two people walking over were the people from the Ming clan in the Azure Water City, Meng Yujing and the Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Xiuting. Humph! Meng Yujing brought Tan Xiuting forward and stopped in front of Wang Kuei. He did not look at Wang Kuei but looked at Duan Lingtian instead. His eyes were filled with coldness and unwillingness. Clan leader Wang, is this the husband your Wang clan chose for Wang Luoyu? Meng Yujing asked as he glanced at Wang Kuei indifferently. Wang Kuei looked deeply at Meng Yujing and said indifferently, "Young Master Meng, if you're here as a guest, the Wang clan welcomes you. However, if you're here to cause trouble, please leave the Wang clan." Wang Kuei's tone was extremely domineering. Clan leader Wang. Tan Xiaoding, who was standing behind Meng Yujing, spoke, while Meng Yujing was frowning. "Young Master Meng Yujing came here on behalf of the Honorable One. You want him to leave the Wang clan because the Wang clan doesn't welcome the Honorable One?" Tan Xiaoding mentioned the new supreme powerhouse behind the Ming clan as soon as he spoke. In just a blink of an eye, the atmosphere became tense. When Wang Kuei heard Tan Xiaoding's words, he did not rush to explain. Instead, he smiled faintly. "I, Wang Kuei, believe that if Senior Ming Tianfeng came here personally, he would definitely not be as aggressive as young Master Ming. I, Wang Kuei, and even the Wang clan, respect Senior Ming Tianfeng very much. After all, he was the clan leader of the Wang clan. He knew how to be polite. Let's go." Seeing that Wang Kuei was not easy to deal with, Meng Yujing snorted coldly and led Tan Xiaoding inside. It was obvious that he had made up his mind to attend the wedding of Duan Lingtian's alias, Li Feng, and Wang Luoyu. "Brother Li Feng," Wang Kuei comforted Duan Lingtian. "That Meng Yujing is a good-for-nothing. Don't hold it against him. If the Ming clan didn't have a supreme powerhouse, they wouldn't dare to be so presumptuous. He's just a clown." Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. He did not seem to care at all. "Why are you here?" Right at this moment, an exclamation of disbelief and disbelief sounded from afar. There was a young woman with a delicate and pretty appearance there. She was holding the hand of a middle-aged man, and there was an old woman following behind them. Regardless of whether it was the young woman or the old woman, Duan Lingtian was no stranger to them. Chapter 44-34. The newcomers were Yi Qiangwei and the old woman who had been by her side in the past. At this moment, the old woman was still behind Yi Qiangwei. Beside Yi Qiangwei was a middle-aged man with a dignified face who bore some resemblance to Yi Qiangwei. The moment Duan Lingtian saw the three of them, it was not difficult for him to guess the identity of the middle-aged man beside Yi Qiangwei. He was most likely Yi Qiangwei's father, one of the candidates to inherit the position of patriarch of the Ye family. Although he had only met Wang Luoyu a few times, he had heard some things about Yi Qiangwei from Wang Luoyu. He knew that Yi Qiangwei was here for her, and had the intention to help her get rid of the marriage alliance with the Wang family. It was precisely because of this that Duan Lingtian had a slightly better impression of Yi Qiangwei. For this reason, Duan Lingtian only regained his senses after a brief moment of shock when he saw Yi Qiangwei. At the same time, he did not intend to explain to Yi Qiangwei why he had introduced himself as Duan Lingtian. He believed that from Yi Qiangwei's perspective, she would most likely think that Duan Lingtian was his alias. Why is it him? At this moment, Yi Qiangwei was completely dumbfounded. She did not expect that the young man named Li Feng, whom her sister Wang Luoyu was going to marry, was actually the young man who called himself Duan Lingtian that she had a good impression of. He actually gave me a fake name? At this moment, Yi Qiangwei could not help but feel disappointed and disappointed. At the same time, she could not help but feel envious of her sister Wang Luoyu. This was because she had a good impression of the person in front of her as well. This was also the first time in her life that she had a good impression of a man of the same age. At the same time, she could tell that he was a good person. "I didn't expect." He's Li Feng. Yi Qiangwei's gaze was extremely complicated. The old woman behind Yi Qiangwei was obviously stunned when she saw Duan Lingtian. When she regained her senses, her gaze was also extremely complicated. At the same time, she carefully looked at the back of her miss in front of her. She could clearly see her miss's delicate body trembling slightly. "Wire, what's wrong?" At this moment, the middle-aged man standing beside Yi Qiangwei also felt his daughter's body trembling. He couldn't help but ask with concern, "Are you feeling unwell?" "Father, I'm fine." Yi Qiangwei regained her senses and shook her head. "It's just that when I think of Sister Luoyu getting married, I suddenly feel a little disappointed." "Silly girl." The middle-aged man shook his head and smiled. She's married, but she's still your sister. That won't change. Even if she leaves the Sky Sand realm with her husband in the future, will she never come back? Even if she doesn't come back, can't you go look for her? The middle-aged man, who was Yi Changwei's father, comforted her. Let's go and meet Luoyu's husband. From what you said, he's a man that both Luoyu and the Wang family have chosen. He's definitely not an ordinary person. As the middle-aged man spoke, he led Yi Changwei up to Wang Kuei and Duan Lingtian, Elder Yi Cheng. After the middle-aged man beside Yi Changwei took the initiative to greet him, Wang Kuei also smiled and greeted him. Your daughter and Luoyu are close friends. Since Luoyu is getting married this time, you're also considered her elder. You should drink a few more cups. Of course. Yi Cheng laughed heartily. At the same time, his gaze fell on Duan Lingtian. Elder Yi Cheng. Duan Lingtian nodded at Yi Cheng, and then looked at Yi Changwei, who was beside Yi Cheng. Misty, we meet again. Originally, Yi Changwei didn't even look at Duan Lingtian because she was worried that her heart would be even more shaken. Now that she heard Duan Lingtian take the initiative to greet her, she raised her head and looked at Duan Lingtian with a complicated gaze. Yes, we meet again. I just didn't expect you to be the big brotherly Feng that Luoyu mentioned. Where? You're acquainted with this brotherly Feng? Yi Cheng was slightly surprised. On the other hand, the Wang clan leader, Wang Kuei, was slightly surprised as well. Missy is acquainted with brotherly Feng? If Yi Changwei was acquainted with their Wang clan's son-in-law, Li Feng, because of Wang Luoyu, he wouldn't be surprised. However, now it seemed like she wasn't acquainted with Li Feng because of Wang Luoyu. Father. At this moment, Yi Changwei looked at Yi Cheng, who was beside her, and said in a slightly lowered voice, Big brother Li Feng is the young genius who saved my mother-in-law and me on the way here that day. This sentence caused Yi Cheng to turn pale with fright. Previously, he had heard from his daughter how powerful the person who saved her was. He was definitely not weaker than Yi Cheng. At that time, his daughter had also said that the person should be less than 10,000 years old. To have such strength before the age of 10,000 was truly shocking. Before he came, he was already filled with curiosity about the young genius. However, he didn't expect to see him here and under such circumstances. At this moment, he finally understood why the Wang clan was willing to take the risk of offending the Ming clan of Kanglan City and still insisted on betrothing Wang Luoyu to this person before him. It turned out that the person before him was such a heaven-defying existence. Based on how heaven-defying the other party was, his background must be extraordinary as well. The Wang clan has really found a treasure this time. Yi Cheng sighed in his heart. At the same time, he subconsciously glanced at his daughter, Yi Changwei, who was beside him. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. If Wei can find such a husband, even if I'm no longer around in the future, I won't have to worry about her future. Although Yi Changwei deliberately lowered her voice, he still heard her words. For a moment, her eyes narrowed slightly. When she looked at Yi Cheng again, she saw the shock in his eyes. It seems like brother Li Feng's strength won't be able to be concealed for long, Wang Kuei thought to himself. At this moment, Yi Cheng, who had regained his senses, looked at Wang Kuei and smiled. Patriarch Wang, congratulations to the Wang clan for obtaining a son-in-law. Thank you, Elder Yi Cheng. Wang Kuei smiled and thanked him. Elder Yi Cheng, please come in. The ceremony will begin soon. Please go in and take your seat. All right. Yi Cheng responded and led Yi Changwei and the old woman away. Before he left, he specially bid farewell to Duan Lingtian. Brother Li Feng, we'll go in first. See you later. Take care, Elder Yi Cheng. Duan Lingtian smiled and nodded as he watched the three members of the Ye clan leave. After that, Duan Lingtian followed the Wang clan patriarch Wang Kuei to receive more than 10 guests from afar. When it was almost time, they left to prepare for the ceremony. From the beginning to the end, Duan Lingtian did not suggest to the Wang clan to simplify the wedding ceremony as much as possible. Even though he knew that the Wang clan would respect his opinion, he did not want to alarm them. Now, only the last step of the plan was left to succeed. At this time, he did not want to complicate matters. Today's wedding ceremony is over. In 2 days, I can find an excuse to leave. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. Chapter 44-35. After Yi Qiangwei entered the arena with her father, she temporarily left him. According to her, today was the day her good sister, Wang Luoyu, got married. As her elder sister, she had to accompany Wang Luoyu. Yi Cheng did not think there was anything wrong with this. It was to the extent that when he realized Wang Luoyu's husband, Li Feng, was a peerless monster, he wished his daughter would have a closer relationship with Wang Luoyu. Therefore, he agreed to his daughter's request without the slightest hesitation. As for Yi Qiangwei, who was leaving Kargalik, that old woman was still following behind her like a shadow. Young Mississippi, perhaps Yi Cheng did not know his daughter's thoughts, but the old woman who was always by Yi Qiangwei's side could vaguely guess Yi Qiangwei's current feelings. Some people are just passers-by. Don't take it to heart. She knew that her young miss had a favorable impression of that young man who called himself Duanling Tian. Although her young miss didn't mention it, as someone who had experienced it before, it wasn't difficult for her to notice. Granny, why don't you think he told me his real name? Yi Qiangwei was slightly disappointed. So his name was Li Feng, not Duanling Tian. Why did he lie to her? Was she not even worthy of a word of truth? Young miss, don't think too much. The old woman shook her head and said, since young Master Li Feng did not tell you his real name, it means he must have his own concerns. You should understand him. Moreover, he's going to become young Miss Luoyu's husband soon. From today onwards, there will be a lot of interactions between the two of you. The old woman continued. Of course, the old woman's words had a double meaning. She was clearly telling her young miss that Li Feng was already taken and hinting her young miss to stop thinking too much. She knew her young miss was arrogant. In the past, she had never beamed with joy in front of men of the same age. Only that young man, Li Feng, made her young miss unable to forget. Yes, Yi Qiangwei's delicate body trembled slightly. He's going to be Sister Luoyu's husband soon. Speaking of which, from today onwards, he's my brother-in-law. Granny, I'm fine. Now, let's go find Luoyu. Since her brother is no longer around, I will accompany her on behalf of her brother and watch her get married, Yi Qiangwei said. Hearing her young miss's words, the old woman secretly heaved a sigh of relief and hurriedly responded. She could tell that her mistress had let it go, even if it was only for a moment, as long as there was enough time. She believed that her young miss would be able to let it go completely. Sister Rose. Wang Luoyu, who was preparing at the back, was surrounded by a group of people. There were also 3 or 4 women who were in charge of adjusting her makeup. Although her makeup was not done yet, her appearance today was far better than her usual self. Even if the Duanling Tian were here, looking at Wang Luoyu now, he might feel that she had some experience. Sister Luoyu, you're so beautiful. Even Yi Qiangwei, who was also a woman, couldn't help but smile when she saw Wang Luoyu. Big Sister Rose, since you came with Uncle Yi, then you should have already met Big Brother Li Feng, right? Wang Luoyu asked Yi Qiangwei with a smile as she cooperated with the women around her. She knew that her big sister Rose was full of curiosity towards her big brother Li Feng. It was a pity that big brother Li Feng didn't want to meet her. Now, she could finally get what she wanted. Yes, I met him. Yi Qiangwei nodded. Sister Luoyu, do you still remember that I told you that I was saved by a young expert on my way here? Wang Luoyu nodded with a face full of fear. Luckily, that big brother saved you. Otherwise, I really can't imagine what would have happened to you. Wang Luoyu still had a face full of fear when she thought about that incident. In fact, when Yi Qiangwei first arrived, she didn't mention it because she was afraid that Wang Luoyu would be worried. It was only until many days later that she brought it up in a casual conversation. Even so, Wang Luoyu was still shocked. Only then did she know that her big sister Rose was almost kidnapped by the people from the Blood Sea because of her. Fortunately, a young expert took action and saved her big sister Rose. Today, I met him again, Yi Qiangwei said. Wang Luoyu was stunned and then asked curiously, Big Sister Rose, was he invited to my wedding with Big Brother Li Feng? Did you greet him? This time, did he tell you his name? Wang Luoyu was very curious about this. That day, when her big sister Rose told her that the other party refused to talk to her too much and didn't even want to tell her his name, she was shocked. She couldn't imagine what kind of person would be so disdainful of a beauty like her big sister Rose. Could it be that he liked men and didn't like women? He wasn't invited to your wedding. Yi Qiangwei looked at Wang Luoyu with a complicated gaze and sighed. He is your big brother Li Feng. This sentence made Wang Luoyu completely stunned. Big brother Li Feng? Elder brother Duan? Elder brother Duan was the one who saved big sister Rose? Wang Luoyu's gaze became complicated when she thought of this. It turned out that the young man who came all the way to Lanshao City's Wang family just to fulfill his promise had already met Sister Rose before meeting him. Furthermore, he had even saved Sister Rose. Big brother Li Feng. At this moment, Wang Luoyu took a few more glances at Yi Qiangwei. It was not difficult to see the loneliness in her eyes. What a joke. I can't believe elder brother Duan is the one who saved big sister Rose. Moreover, it's obvious that big sister Rose has feelings for him. Wang Luoyu's heart trembled. At the same time, her eyes flashed. She almost wanted to tell Yi Qiangwei the truth about Duan Lingtian, saving her from the Wang clan. At the critical moment, she remembered her elder brother Duan's warning and recognized him as her master. I can't believe the person who saved big sister Rose is big brother Li Feng. I didn't hear big brother Li Feng mention this before. At this moment, Wang Luoyu felt a little guilty and embarrassed. In the end, it was Yi Qiangwei who came back to her senses and changed the topic to break the slightly awkward atmosphere. At this time, she was also somewhat regretful that she had expressed some admiration for her life-saving grace in front of Wang Luoyu that day. Miss Luoyu, it's almost time. Let's get ready and go out. After Wang Luoyu's makeup was done and she chatted with Yi Qiangwei for a while, someone rushed over and reminded Wang Luoyu. At this moment, the surrounding Wang clan members began to get busy again. Yi Qiangwei followed Wang Luoyu because she had planned to be Wang Luoyu's maternal family member and sent her to that man's side. At the same time, Duan Lingtian was already waiting on the other side. According to the wedding customs of the Wang clan in Lanshao City, he and Wang Luoyu would enter from two different directions and gather on the high platform to face the guests seated below the high platform. After that, there would be a series of ceremonies. After the ceremony, the two of them would be considered to have completed the wedding. After that, they would toast the guests and thank them. The wedding ceremony was held in the vast martial arts arena of the Wang clan. Of course, the arena had been decorated with lanterns and colored banners. It looked very jubilant. In front of a table of banquet, Meng Yujing looked at Tan Xiaoding excitedly and asked hurriedly through voice transmission, "Uncle Tan, the elder master, is really coming?" "Yes." Tan Xiaoding nodded and replied through voice transmission. His honor said that he also wants to see what kind of background this fellow has to be able to make the Wang clan reject him. Reject the Ming clan that has such a powerful person like him in charge. When will the elder master arrive? Meng Yujing's tone became more urgent. At the same time, his eyes shone brightly, like a drowning person who had grabbed onto a life-saving straw. Chapter 44-36. He should be arriving soon. Just as Tan Xiaoding was replying to Meng Yujing, a figure was traveling on the road from Kanglan City to Lanshao City. Feng Su was riding on the wind. He was above the clouds, and his figure was ethereal. Even when people passed by below, they did not discover his whereabouts. It was an old man. He looked old from afar, but up close, he had white hair and a youthful face. There were faint black strands in his grayish-white hair, and his face was very ruddy. He looked more like a young man who had deliberately made up and dressed like an old man. The old man was wearing a light gray robe. As he moved, the sound of wind and thunder could be heard. Bursts of imperceptible flames swept through the air, causing the air to sizzle. Wang clan. As the old man ran, his eyes were somewhat ethereal. Scenes from back then appeared in his mind. That year, he was only a junior who was not even 10,000 years old. He followed his elders to Lanshao City to meet the Wang clan's ultimate powerhouse patriarch, as if he was on a pilgrimage. The Wang clan's ultimate powerhouse patriarch was much stronger than an ordinary ultimate powerhouse. It was also because of this that the Wang clan at that time not only had a high status in Lanshao City, but also in the entire Sky Sand territory, not to mention anything else. Even the 5 ultimate powerhouses of the 5 great clans of Dancing Sun City, who had recently been annihilated, could not stop the powerful demon venerable of Qi Ming Mountain and his helpers. If it were the 5 great clans of Dancing Sun City or the great clans of Lanshao City, just the Wang clan's patriarch alone was enough to make the demon venerable of Qi Ming Mountain wary and not dare to provoke him. I really didn't expect that the Wang clan that was so powerful in the past would be reduced to such a state now. They can only rely on Senior Wang's protection. Now, there are still a few ultimate powerhouses that the Wang clan can rely on. But what will happen in the future? If the Wang clan does not produce an ultimate powerhouse, their status today will soon be gone. Thinking of this, the old man thought of the clan behind him. However, while I'm lamenting the Wang clan, isn't my Ming clan the same? Now that I've stepped into the realm of an ultimate powerhouse, my strength has improved and my lifespan has become longer. However, even so, there will be a day when I leave. Today, all the glory the Ming clan has gained because of me will vanish with me. As the old man muttered to himself, he sighed again. Based on the old man's words, his identity was obvious. He was the new supreme expert of the Ming clan, Ming Tianfeng, Lan Xiaoqing, the Wang family. With the appearance of the newlyweds, the atmosphere of the Wang family's wedding banquet was completely ignited. This son-in-law of the Wang family is really a talent. Just her looks alone are enough to make her the #1 beauty in Lanshao City. I wonder what kind of background this son-in-law of the Wang family has. For the Wang family to reject the Ming family, his background must be extraordinary. When Duan Lingtian and Wang Luoyu walked up to the stage from 2 different directions, the guests below the stage couldn't help but burst into discussion. Wang Luoyu was the #1 beauty in Lanshao City. Even those who had not seen her before were mentally prepared for her appearance. However, they were unfamiliar with Duan Lingtian's alias, Li Feng. Due to this reason, most of the people's attention was on Li Feng. Welcome to our Wang family's grand wedding banquet. As the patriarch of the Wang family, I, Wang Kuei, would like to thank all of you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend this banquet. On the stage, the patriarch of the Wang family, Wang Kuei, bowed to the people below the stage as he was the one presiding over the wedding. In fact, it was rare for the patriarch of the Wang family to be the one presiding over the wedding banquet unless it was a direct descendant of the family marrying a woman from a prominent family or a direct descendant of the family marrying a person from a prominent family. As for the latter, it was usually a wedding banquet held in the Feng family. The patriarch of the Wang family would never be the one presiding over the wedding banquet. Therefore, in the history of the Wang family, there were very few cases where the patriarch of the Wang family would be the one presiding over the wedding of a direct descendant of the Wang family. As the current patriarch of the Wang family, this was the first time Wang Kuei had encountered such a situation. In the past, he had been the one presiding over the wedding banquet as well. However, he had been the sole casting stone for the male direct descendant of the Wang family, the female direct descendant of the Wang family, and even the female direct descendant of the Wang family. This was his first time. Because of this, it caused a lot of discussion among the people below the stage. They all felt that the Wang family's son-in-law this time was definitely not simple. He was definitely not an ordinary person. Today is the wedding banquet of our Wang family's direct descendant, Wang Luoyu. Today, she will officially marry Li Feng, a young talent who came from outside of the Sky Sand realm. And even the Wang family, will give them our highest blessings. Also, when Duan Lingtian and Wang Luoyu walked up to the stage, Wang Kuei, the patriarch of the Wang family, began a long speech that Duan Lingtian almost dozed off. However, during this process, Duan Lingtian's gaze swept across the crowd below the stage. Most people's gazes were normal. They stared at him with eyes full of puzzlement and curiosity. However, there was also one gaze that was exceptionally sharp and vicious. It was none other than the disciple of the Ming family from Kanglan City, who had been overbearing when he had accompanied Wang Kuei to welcome the guests earlier, Ming Yuzheng. Duan Lingtian had not taken Ming Yuzheng seriously from the beginning. Even now, it was still the same. Therefore, he completely ignored Ming Yuzheng's vicious gaze. However, just because he ignored Ming Yuzheng did not mean that Ming Yuzheng also ignored him. At this moment, while Ming Yuzheng stared at Duan Lingtian, he did not forget to send a voice transmission to Duan Lingtian. Kid, you'll pay the price for your recklessness. I'll tell you the truth. My great-grandfather, the strongest person in our Ming family, is about to arrive. Once he arrives, your wedding will be over. I only hope that you can be as unyielding as before in front of that old man." When Meng Yujing sent the voice transmission, his tone was cold and filled with a strong sense of threat. When Duan Lingtian heard Meng Yujing's voice transmission, he did not look back at him. This made Meng Yujing even more furious. This bastard! Does he think that I'm lying to him and scaring him? At the same time, Wang Kuei, the Wang family's patriarch, finished his long speech and formally introduced Duan Lingtian to the guests below the stage. Of course, he did not go into detail about his talent and strength. He only said that he came from a large family outside of Tiansha. He was a rare young talent. After introducing Duan Lingtian's alias, Li Feng, he introduced Wang Luoyu, who was next to Duan Lingtian. At the same time, he passed the wedding gift that the Wang family had prepared to Wang Luoyu. "Luoyu, even if you're married, you're still a member of our Wang family. This will never change." Wang Kuei smiled warmly. Wang Luoyu was, naturally, flattered and guiltily accepted the wedding gift from the Wang family. She knew this was a critical moment, and she could not let the cat out of the bag. She did not want to ruin her elder brother Duan's plan. "After this wedding, I'll have to leave the Ming family. I heard from elder brother Duan that his hometown, the God Defiance realm, is not bad. Perhaps I can consider going there and find a mundane realm to spend the rest of my life there." Wang Luoyu thought to herself. When the ceremony was about to end, and the guests below the stage began to eat, a clear voice rang out. A voice that was not loud but extremely clear suddenly rang in everyone's ears out of thin air. It seemed to come from all directions, and it was difficult to identify the specific source of the voice. "I'm Meng Tianfeng from the Ming family. I've heard that the Wang family is marrying off a daughter, so I've come to ask for a toast." When the crowd heard this voice, they were all shocked. The Ming family? Meng Tianfeng? Is that the new supreme powerhouse from the Ming family in Songlan City? Many people cried out in surprise as their eyes widened. "It's him. I didn't expect him to come personally. What's going on? A supreme powerhouse is here to attend the wedding of a junior from the Wang family? This doesn't make sense. Could the rumors be true?" Meng Tianfeng, the new supreme powerhouse from the Ming family, wanted the Wang family to betroth Wang Luoyu to a junior from the Ming family, but the Wang family rejected him. If this is true, this Meng Dunfeng has come with ill intentions. Chapter 44-37. The ultimate powerhouse of the Ming clan, Meng Tianfeng. He had arrived at the Wang clan in Lanshao City. Wang Kuei, the clan leader of the Wang clan, who had a joyous smile on his face, heard the voice from outside. His expression changed slightly before he calmed down. Then, he rose into the air and looked in the direction of Kanglan City where the Ming clan was located. He bowed slightly and cupped his hands. "Clan leader of the Wang clan, Wang Kuei, welcome Senior Meng Tianfeng." In fact, Wang Kuei did not know where Meng Tianfeng's voice came from. However, he knew that he was most likely in the direction of Kanglan City. This was because he was most likely from the Ming clan in Kanglan City. "Clan leader Wang was just a young man when I first met you. I didn't expect you to become the clan leader of the Wang clan today." The voice rang out again. Then, an old man with white hair and a ruddy complexion arrived with the wind. Very soon, he appeared in Wang Kuei's field of vision and before everyone present. "It's Senior Meng Tianfeng from the Ming clan." When Meng Tianfeng appeared, many people present recognized him immediately. Among them, there were also some old people who looked at Meng Tianfeng with complicated expressions. They could be considered Meng Tianfeng's old friends, and they were people of the same generation as Meng Tianfeng. However, today, the difference between them and Meng Tianfeng was like the difference between heaven and earth. "Greetings, Senior Meng Tianfeng." As many people left their seats and bowed respectfully to Meng Tianfeng, the rest of the people present also stood up and bowed respectfully to Meng Tianfeng. Only a small number of senior elders remained seated in front of the table, with no intention of standing up. They were either from the same generation as Meng Tianfeng or from the forces behind them. They were not afraid of the Ming clan in Kanglan City who had Meng Tianfeng now. Although they were not ultimate powerhouses, they still had the pride of a powerful force. For example, Taiyu, one of the three great demons under the venerable demon of the Qi Ming Mountain, and his adopted son, Ta Ming Sha, sat there motionlessly. They had no intention of bowing to Ming Tianfeng. The venerable demon of the Qi Ming Mountain was extremely powerful. He was considered a powerhouse even among the ultimate powerhouses. During the Battle of Dancing Sun City, there were 5 ultimate powerhouses in Dancing Sun City. If there were 2 less, the venerable demon of the Qi Ming Mountain would not even need to ask for help. At this moment, with the arrival of the Ming Tianfeng, the new ultimate powerhouse of the Ming clan, Duan Lingtian's name, was completely stolen the limelight. As for Duan Lingtian himself, he was also the ultimate powerhouse of the clan. There was no fear on Ming Qi's face. More often than not, it was more casual. This is the new clan ultimate powerhouse of the clan ultimate? He doesn't look much different from those few supreme experts in the Dancing Sun City. Ming Tian, SSS name. Currently, Duan Ling Tian was no longer the young lad who had never seen a supreme powerhouse before. During the battle in Dancing Sun City, not only did he see many supreme powerhouses, but he had also seen them fighting. However, his eyes and divine consciousness could not follow their movements. He could not see how they fought. Before he met an ultimate powerhouse, he was filled with longing and yearning for them. Now, he was just like that. An ultimate powerhouse was an even more powerful existence. They were also living beings with emotions and desires. They were afraid of death and wanted to continue living. Apart from being stronger, they were no different from others. I didn't expect Senior to still remember me. Hearing Ming Tianfeng's words, Wang Kuei, the head of the Wang family, was flattered. After all, although he had seen the old man in front of him back then, it was only once. At that time, the other party was already an important figure in the Ming clan of Kanglan City. When he came to the Wang clan as a guest, the Wang clan leader had personally accompanied him. On the other hand, he was just a young man. At that time, I could tell that you were different from ordinary young men. Later, when I heard that you had become the Wang clan leader, I mentioned this to a few old friends and praised myself for having a good eye. Ming Tianfeng smiled faintly and said, Clan leader Wang, let's end our small talk here. There are many old friends of mine here. Let me greet them. As soon as he finished speaking, Ming Tianfeng's figure flashed, and he was already in the open space below. In the next moment, more than a dozen figures went up to greet Ming Tianfeng. Brother Ming, congratulations. Brother Ming, I personally went to Kanglan City to congratulate you, but because you were in seclusion, I didn't dare to disturb you. I only wanted to visit again in the future, but I didn't expect to meet you here in advance. Brother Ming, how have you been? Before Ming Tianfeng became an ultimate powerhouse, he was an important figure in the Ming clan of Kanglan City. He had also trained outside for many years and made many connections, so he had many friends outside. Among them, there was no lack of people from the ultimate forces. At the same time, the Ming clan's disciple, Ming Yuzheng, also walked over with Tan Xiaoding and bowed respectfully to Ming Tianfeng. Yuzheng greets the ancestor. Supreme Lord. Tan Xiaoding also bowed respectfully to Ming Tianfeng. Then, he took a few steps forward and stood behind Ming Tianfeng respectfully. Seeing the famous Azure Flame Saber Monarch in the Sky Sand territory act like this, Ming Tianfeng's group of old friends had complicated expressions. The Azure Flame Saber Monarch was not weaker than them. In fact, he was even stronger than them. They had befriended him as equals. But now, he had become Ming Tianfeng's follower. Just now, although Ming Tianfeng did not put on any airs, the pressure from the aura of an ultimate powerhouse made them feel as if they were sitting on pins and needles. After greeting him, they had the urge to quickly leave. They knew that Ming Tianfeng was no longer people of the same world as them. As long as they did not step into the ultimate realm, they could not be the same as before in front of Ming Tianfeng. Ancestor, that guy is the one who is going to marry the daughter of the Wang clan, Wang Luoyu. His name is Li Feng. He knows that I'm from the Ming clan of Kanglan City and that the Ming clan has an existence like you, but he still doesn't give me or the Ming clan any face. Ming Yuzheng complained to Ming Tianfeng as soon as he opened his mouth. At this moment, Ming Tianfeng's group of old friends, who were just about to find an excuse to leave, raised their eyebrows. It seemed that the rumors might really be true. The Wang clan had rejected their old friend this time, and instead married the daughter of the Wang clan to a young talent from outside the Tiansha realm. However, they did not think that their old friend would be angry because of this. After all, the background of the Wang clan's son-in-law was still unclear. Rashly offending him might not be a good thing for the Ming clan. The Wang clan's choice actually explained many things. As expected, in the face of Meng Yuzhing's complaint, Meng Tianfeng said indifferently, "In my opinion, it's you who doesn't know what's good for you and offended the son-in-law of the Wang clan, right?" Now, although Meng Tianfeng and the others were in a corner of the wedding banquet, they were still the center of attention and had never left the sight of the crowd. "Go. Apologize to young friendly Feng." When Meng Tianfeng spoke with a stern tone, not only was Meng Yuzhing dumbfounded, but even the members of the Wang clan and the various guests present were stunned. What was going on? Could it be that the ultimate powerhouse of the Ming clan, Meng Tianfeng, knew the identity and background of the Wang clan's son-in-law? Otherwise, why would he do this? Ancestor. Meng Yuzhing's expression changed drastically. He originally thought that his greatest backer had arrived, but at this moment, it was as if he had fallen from heaven into the dark and boundless abyss of hell. Chapter 44:38. Even the Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Xiuting, who was standing behind Meng Tianfeng, was stunned. He had no idea what was going on. He had always thought that the person in front of him was angry that the Wang clan in Lanshao City did not give him face by not marrying Wang Luoyu to his direct descendant, Meng Yuzhing. He had thought that this person was here to cause trouble for the Wang clan. He did not expect that after Meng Yuzhing complained, he would reprimand him and even ask him to apologize to the Wang clan's son-in-law. What's going on? Tan Xiuting and Meng Yuzhing were not the only ones who were stunned. Everyone else was stunned as well. This was especially true for the clan leader of the Wang clan, Wang Kuei. He also thought that Meng Tianfeng had come to look for trouble, and he was even prepared to send a message to get support. However, he never expected that Meng Tianfeng would actually change the topic and say something that everyone found unbelievable when Meng Yuzhing took the initiative to complain, and almost everyone thought that he would stand up for Meng Yuzhing. He actually asked his direct descendant, Meng Yuzhing, to apologize to Li Feng. Moreover, when he mentioned Li Feng, he even addressed Li Feng as young friendly Feng. After all, this was a supreme powerhouse. Could it be that he knows about brother Li Feng's background? At this moment, Wang Kuei could only think of this possibility. What are you waiting for? Why aren't you going? Meng Tianfeng looked at Meng Yuzhing indifferently. Although his tone was calm, when it entered Meng Yuzhing's ears, it was like a huge bell that shook his heart. In the next moment, even though Meng Yuzhing was extremely unwilling, he did not dare to hesitate. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, he walked toward the bridegroom today, Duan Lingtian, whose alias was Li Feng. Li Feng, I'm sorry. Once again arriving in front of Duan Lingtian, Meng Yuzhing no longer had the arrogance from before. Although the depths of his eyes still contained unwillingness and anger, he did not dare to show it on the surface. As for Duan Lingtian, when faced with Meng Yuzhing's apology, he instead said indifferently, "Young Master Meng, I don't think you've done anything wrong to me. Everyone has a heart that loves beauty. I can understand." Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Meng Yuzhing took a deep look at Duan Lingtian before turning around and leaving. He returned behind Meng Tianfeng and stood side by side with Tan Xiuting. As for Meng Tianfeng himself, his gaze was also on Duan Lingtian. He nodded and smiled at the Duan Lingtian. "Little friendly Feng, I heard that you came from outside the heavenly sand realm. I think the faction behind you is not ordinary." As soon as Meng Tianfeng said this, Duan Lingtian shook his head. "Senior, you flatter me. The power behind me is definitely incomparable to the current Ming family of Kanglan City." Incomparable. When Duan Lingtian said this, it sounded like he was being modest. However, when it entered the ears of Meng Tianfeng and Wang Kuei, it was completely different, incomparable. Was the power behind Li Feng incomparable to the Ming family, or was the Ming family incomparable to the power behind him? There was a double meaning in his words. At this moment, Wang Kuei was also somewhat stunned. So this old fart Meng Tianfeng doesn't know about brother Li Feng's background? If he knew, he would not have said such a thing. There was no need for that. It was better to just get close to him. However, if that was the case, why was Meng Tianfeng so polite to brotherly Feng? Wang Kuei could not understand. Could it be because my Wang family's attitude towards brotherly Feng is different? Although this could explain some things, it should not be enough to make a supreme expert like Meng Tianfeng lower his head. There must be some other reason. My young friendly Feng, you are too humble. Meng Tianfeng shook his head. If I say that my young friendly Feng came from a humble background, I'm afraid no one would believe that you were able to get the inherited heaven sword from the Wang family. When Meng Tianfeng said this, Duan Lingtian did not feel anything. This was because he had never heard of the inherited heaven sword. However, Duan Lingtian did not feel anything. It did not mean that others did not feel anything, especially the Wang family head, Wang Kuei. His pupils shrank sharply as his heart trembled. How did he know? The inherited heaven sword. This was the name of the supreme expert that he had personally invited to the Wang clan. When that supreme expert was only a high-level ultimate god, this name had already resounded throughout the entire Heavenly Sand territory. Now, the name of the inherited heaven sword was even more shocking in the Sky Sand territory. This was because he was one of the strongest supreme experts in the Sky Sand territory. He was as famous as the Qiming demon venerable from the Qiming mountain. If the supreme experts in the Sky Sand territory were divided into two echelons, then supreme experts like the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, and the Qiming demon venerable would be in the first echelon. For example, Meng Tianfeng, the other supreme experts in Lanshao City, Kanglan City, and even the 5 supreme experts in Dancing Sun City would be in the second echelon. What? The inherited heaven sword is here? The Wang family is so influential? Although I heard that the Wang family was related to the inherited heaven sword, Situ Venerable, it was only hearsay. After all, the inherited heaven sword is such a lofty existence. I didn't expect it to be related to the Wang family. I heard about this too. I thought it was fake, but now it seems like it might be true. Earlier, someone said that if the Wang family was only related to ordinary supreme experts and did not have any supreme experts to rely on, they would not be able to maintain their mansion in Lanshao City. It was because of the existence of the inherited heaven sword that they could do this. Now it seems like it's true. Many guests present were in an uproar at this time. Of course, there were also some guests who were not surprised. It was obvious that they knew about the relationship between the inherited heaven sword and the Wang family. Among them was the Ye family's elder, Yi Cheng, and Yi Changwei's father. I didn't expect the Wang family to invite the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei. It seems like the Wang family has a certain understanding of this young man's strength and background. Yi Cheng was secretly shocked. At this time, Duan Lingtian also learned about the coldness of the 3 words inherited heaven sword through the discussions and whispers of many guests. The inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, was a top powerhouse in Tiansha. He was as famous as the Qiming demon venerable of Qiming Mountain, Patriarch Wang. At this time, Meng Tianfeng looked at Wang Kuei and said with a faint smile, "I'm here to congratulate the Wang family on this marriage and to pay a visit to the inherited heaven sword, Senior Situ. Patriarch Wang, please tell him that I, Meng Tianfeng, want to meet Senior Situ. I have some questions about cultivation that I need to ask him for help." It was a complete accident that Meng Tianfeng knew that the inherited heaven sword had come to the Wang family. This was because he had gone to the inherited heaven sword's cultivation ground at around the same time, and was told that the inherited heaven sword had already left. It should be noted that the inherited heaven sword rarely left its place of practice. It was usually in secluded cultivation. This time, it had left at this time, so it was easy to imagine its destination. It was also at this moment that he guessed that the inherited heaven sword was most likely taken away by the Wang family of Langxiaking. Just now, when he saw the reaction of the patriarch of the Wang family, Wang Kuei, he confirmed his guess. The inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, was in the Wang family. Senior Meng. At the same time, Wang Kuei spoke after a moment of silence. Senior Situ wants you to meet him. Please follow me. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Kuei led the way. Meng Tianfeng followed closely behind him. A wedding was completely interrupted with the arrival of Meng Tianfeng. and the originally festive atmosphere came to an abrupt end. If it were a normal newlywed, they would definitely be angry at Meng Tianfeng for stealing the limelight. However, Duan Lingtian and Wang Luoyu did not feel anything. Instead, it was Yi Qiangwei who complained unhappily in Wang Luoyu's ear. This new supreme master of the Ming family came at the right time, but it's not bad to see Meng Yuzheng suffer. He's really a toad lusting after a swan. How can a good-for-nothing like Meng Yuzheng be worthy of my sister Luoyu? Duan Lingtian was beside Wang Luoyu at this time. When he heard Yi Qiangwei's words, he did not say anything. Instead, it was Wang Luoyu who comforted Yi Qiangwei. It was as if the female lead today was not her but Yi Qiangwei. This was because Yi Qiangwei was even more annoyed. Duan Lingtian inadvertently looked around and happened to meet Meng Yuzheng's eyes. It was as if fire was about to shoot out of Meng Yuzheng's eyes. The hatred in his eyes was even more intense than before. Duan Lingtian did not care about this. He did not care about a good-for-nothing like him. If the Meng family wanted to deal with him, as long as Meng Tianfeng did not personally make a move, no one in the Meng family would be able to stop him. Uncle Tan. Tan Xiaoding did not leave with Meng Tianfeng. He stood beside Meng Yuzheng and heard Meng Yuzheng's words. After today, you can find an opportunity to kill him. As long as you bring his corpse back to me, I'll lend you the paramount divinity to comprehend. I believe in Uncle Tan's methods. The flames of hatred burned in the depths of Meng Yuzheng's eyes. On the other hand, the flames of greed rose in Tan Xiaoding's eyes. However, although he yearned for the paramount divinity that was suitable for him to comprehend, Tan Xiaoding still retained his rationality. Meng Tianfeng's words today are not without reason. This Li Feng is definitely not an ordinary person. Otherwise, the Wang family would not have been able to get the inherited Heaven Sword for him. Although he, Tan Xiaoding, was also known as the Azure Flame Saber King. However, in front of the inherited Heaven Sword, he was only a younger brother among younger brothers. There was no comparison at all. Even before the inherited Heaven Sword had become an ultimate expert, it would have been extremely easy to kill him. Moreover, the inherited Heaven Sword had become an ultimate expert and stood at the peak of the heavenly sand realm. Even if I find an opportunity to make a move, I still have to test him. Although it's almost impossible for him to have an ultimate expert protecting him, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have an ultimate expert protecting him. After confirming that he has no one protecting him, or that I can deal with the people protecting him, I'll make a move. Chapter 44-39. Although Tan Xiaoding dreamed of obtaining a suitable omnipotent divinity, even if it was just borrowing it, however, if he could lose his life because of it, he would rather not. Although he was ambitious, the prerequisite for achieving his ambition was to be able to live on properly. Once a person died, there would be nothing left. No matter how ambitious he was, he would need to be alive to be able to grow wild. Uncle Tan? Seeing that Tan Xiaoding did not respond for a long time, Meng Yuzheng's expression darkened. Could it be that the Azure Flame Saber King was so frightened today that he forgot about the deal he made with him? Or did he not have the guts to continue the deal? I know what to do. Tan Xiaoding spoke at this time. As long as there is a chance, I will not give up the chance to borrow the omnipotent divinity from you. Hearing Tan Xiaoding's words, Meng Yuzheng inwardly heaved a sigh of relief. His originally gloomy expression eased a lot, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. Li Feng, so what if you're in the limelight today? Unless you don't leave the Wang family, unless the Wang family can send experts to protect you. Otherwise, when the Azure Flame Saber King makes a move, you won't be able to escape death. Although the inherited Heaven Sword was guarding the Wang family today, which made him feel extremely sullen, Meng Yuzheng also knew that the inherited Heaven Sword was invited by the Wang family to guard the situation. It was impossible for the inherited Heaven Sword to protect the Wang family's son-in-law, Li Feng. Even the other experts of the Wang family who were comparable to the Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Xiaoding, would not be sent to protect Li Feng. This was because such experts could be counted on one hand in the entire Wang family. They were the top experts of the Wang family. It was impossible for them to be a guard, even if that person was the son-in-law of the Wang family. At this moment, Duan Lingtian naturally did not know what Meng Yuzheng was thinking. Nor did he know that the Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Xiaoding, had reached an agreement with Meng Yuzheng. Duan Lingtian was waiting for the return of the Wang family's patriarch, Wang Kuei, to continue the wedding between Li Feng and Wang Luoyu. With the arrival of the strongest expert of the Ming clan, Meng Tianfeng, the wedding had lost a lot of the limelight. Even after Meng Tianfeng left, most people were still talking about Meng Tianfeng and the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, who Meng Tianfeng said was invited by the Wang clan. Situ Lei was an extremely famous existence in the Sky Sand realm. He was also recognized as one of the strongest experts in the Sky Sand realm. As long as Situ Lei is here, it will be difficult for the Wang clan to decline. Many people sighed inwardly. At this moment, many people had spread the news of what had happened. This made some of the people and forces who had declined the Wang family's invitation feel somewhat regretful. They didn't expect the Wang family to keep in close contact with Situ Lei, the inherited heaven sword. This time, they even invited Situ Lei, who no ordinary person could invite, to the Wang family. I should have gone. Not to mention that I'm not that busy to begin with. Even if I'm really busy, I should still go. I wonder if the Wang clan will bear a grudge this time. The Wang clan's wedding shocked everyone inside and outside the Wang clan. After the news spread throughout Lanshao City, it caused a stir everywhere, and people began to discuss the meeting between the two strongest experts of the Wang clan. As for Duan Lingtian, who was supposed to be the main character of the day, Li Feng, and Wang Luoyu, their limelight was completely stolen. Of course, the two of them didn't care about this. After going through the entire process of the wedding, the two of them returned to their bridal chamber, which was the courtyard where Duan Lingtian was staying in the Wang clan. At this time, the courtyard had been refurbished. When Duan Lingtian and Wang Luoyu returned, all the servants and maids sensibly waited outside, leaving the bridal chamber to the two of them. Elder brother Duan, you've worked hard today. In the bridal chamber, Wang Luoyu looked at Duan Lingtian with an apologetic expression. Today, this elder brother Duan not only had to do things, but he also had to deal with the malice of Meng Yuzheng from the Ming clan in Lanshao City. When the strongest expert from the Ming clan arrived, she even broke out in a cold sweat for this elder brother Duan. Fortunately, it was a close call in the end. It's nothing. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. In the next few days, we'll continue to stay in the bridal chamber and not go out, creating the illusion that we're in a gentle home. After a few days, I'll look for Patriarch Wang and tell him that I'm going to take you out for a walk. At that time, the Wang clan won't suspect anything. I'll send you far away from the Wang clan and Lanshao City, and that'll count as fulfilling my promise to your brother. Although he couldn't use what Wang Yiyuan had left for him now, he could imagine that it would be a great help to him in the future. Because of this, as long as there was a glimmer of hope to fulfill Wang Yiyuan's promise, he would give it a try. Yes. Wang Luoyu couldn't help but feel excited when she heard this. She was finally going to leave this place that was like a cage that trapped her freedom. All of this was given to her by her late brother. When she thought of her late brother, Wang Luoyu's eyes turned red again. It took her a long time to return to normal. I want to live well, live freely. That way, I won't waste my brother's painstaking efforts. Wang Luoyu warned herself inwardly. At the same time, a figure appeared in Wang Luoyu's mind. It was a beautiful figure. Apart from her brother, she was the person she trusted the most. Yi Qiangwei, elder brother Duan. Wang Luoyu hesitated for a moment before she finally looked at Duan Lingtian and said, My elder sister Qiangwei seems to like you a little. She's a very good person, if it's possible. Before Wang Luoyu could finish speaking, Duan Lingtian cut her off. Impossible. I already have a wife. After I've settled you down, I'll continue to search for a way to save my wife. There's no need to say such nonsense. Duan Lingtian's tone became much calmer as he spoke, causing Wang Luoyu to feel estranged. She instantly shut her mouth and didn't dare to say anything else. Of course, although she didn't say anything else, she still couldn't help but sigh in her heart. Elder sister Qiangwei, as a sister, I've done my best before leaving. In the future, the outer realm and the myriad worlds are vast. I'm afraid it'll be difficult for us to meet again. In order to prevent the plan from failing, even if Wang Luoyu trusted Yi Qiangwei greatly and felt it was fine to tell Yi Qiangwei the truth, she still couldn't say anything. This was because she had promised her elder brother Duan, who had traveled thousands of miles, to save her. If her elder brother Duan didn't allow her to say anything, it was impossible for her to say anything. Rest well on the bed for the next few days, Duan Ling Tian said to Yi Qiangwei before he disappeared from his spot in just a blink of an eye. He had entered a spatial artifact to cultivate. This spatial artifact was just an ordinary spatial artifact. It was a toy that he had casually refined. With his current attainments in the law of space, even if his weapon refinement level was only at the level of weapon refinement in the mundane realm, he was still able to create this spatial artifact by himself after reading some information on weapon refinement in the outer realm. This spatial artifact was an inconspicuous piece of metal that was exposed under the corner of a square table. Even if others saw it, it would be difficult for them to notice anything unusual about it. When Yi Qiangwei saw this, although she was curious about where her elder brother Duan had gone, she knew he would definitely not leave her behind. If he was such a person, he wouldn't have come to the Wang family in Lan Xiaoqing to look for her. Heaven Inheritance Sword. Duan Lingtian entered the spatial artifact that he had refined himself. He sat cross-legged in the void with his eyes closed. While he was floating in the void, images of what he had experienced today appeared in his mind. Today, he had also learned from a group of people that the Heaven Inheritance Sword, Situ Lei, was extraordinary. Even the new omnipotent expert of the Wang family had to bow down to him. He's as famous as the one from Qiming Mountain in the Heavenly Sand Territory. Duan Lingtian had not seen Situ Lei. However, he had seen the Qiming demon venerate from the Qiming Mountain before. Back in the Dancing Sun City, he had seen how powerful that Qiming demon venerate was. He had led the Qiming demon venerate from the Qiming Mountain to destroy the Dancing Sun City. He had even found a supreme expert to help him kill the supreme experts of the Dancing Sun City and scare off the supreme experts who had survived. The 5 first-rate clans of Dancing Sun City had also been destroyed. Dancing Sun City had also been reduced to ruins. For this reason, in Duan Ling Tian's opinion, a person like Demon Venerable Qi Ming was a peerless existence who could single-handedly destroy a large city that was guarded by many supreme powerhouses. Today, he had learned that the Heaven Inheritance Sword, Situ Lei, whom the Wang family had invited, was also an omnipotent expert who was not weaker than the Qiming Demon Venerable. Obviously, he was also a figure who could destroy a large city with his own strength. Heaven Inheritance Sword. Judging from his name, he's obviously a sword cultivator. And from what those people said, he's also good at sword principle. When he thought of this, Duan Lingtian's eyes turned. I wonder how far he has come in sword principle. Is he stronger than me? There's a high probability that he's not as good as me. Duan Lingtian was very confident in his own attainments in sword principle, even though he knew that the Heaven Inheritance Sword, Situ Lei, had lived for a long time. The sword principle depended more on luck and talent. Moreover, he had also heard that Situ Lei did not rely on sword principle to become an omnipotent expert. Although he had mastered sword principle before becoming an omnipotent expert, his attainments in sword principle were not enough to support him to become an omnipotent expert. I wonder if the Wang family will arrange for me to meet him. Originally, Duan Lingtian was just thinking about it casually. However, what he did not expect was that a few days later, not long after he walked out of the bridal chamber, he saw the Wang family head, Wang Kuei, rushing over in a hurry. When Wang Kuei saw Duan Lingtian, his gaze was a little ambiguous, but he did not forget about the business at hand. Brother Li Feng, a few days ago, you heard Ming Tianfeng mention Senior Situ? These few days, Senior Situ is planning to leave. Before he left, he said that he wanted to see you, Brother Li Feng. Chapter 4440. Duan Lingtian did not expect Situ Lei, the inherited heaven sword, to invite him to a meeting. After all, Situ Lei was a supreme expert. Moreover, he was not an ordinary supreme expert. In the Heavenly Sand Territory, he was as famous as the Heavenly Sand Territories, Heavenly Sand Territories, Heavenly Sand Territories, Heavenly Sand Territories, Heavenly Sand Territory. Even if he had the chance to meet Situ Lei, it would be under the recommendation of the Wang clan. If Situ Lei wanted to meet him personally, he would have to know about his current strength and innate talent. Did the Wang clan tell him that I possess strength close to that of an invincible higher ultimate god, even though I'm not even 10,000 years old? Duan Lingtian could only think of this at this moment. If that's really the case, the Wang clan really doesn't hide anything from him. Based on the situation at the wedding, most of the guests did not know about his strength. Most of them were curious about him as the Wang clan's son-in-law. Due to this reason, he knew the Wang clan did not reveal his background. He had noticed earlier that most of the people in the Wang clan did not know about his background. Therefore, he guessed the Wang clan would not announce this to the public. Under such circumstances, the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, could make the Wang clan take the initiative to mention his strength. It could be said that the Wang clan really did not hide anything from him. Brother Li Feng, Wang Kuei, the clan leader of the Wang clan, said solemnly when he saw Duan Lingtian's doubtful expression. Senior Situ is not an ordinary ally of the Wang clan. This time, it was the Supreme Elder who mentioned Brother Li Feng's strength and talent to Senior Situ. That's why he wanted to see a monstrous talent like you. Most importantly, the Supreme Elder mentioned Brother Li Feng's attainment in the Sword Dao. Senior Situ said that if the Supreme Elder did not exaggerate, your attainment in the Sword Dao is definitely above his. When Wang Kuei said this, he looked at Duan Lingtian again with a hint of shock in the depths of his eyes. He hadn't comprehended any of the 4 Daos of heaven and earth, so he didn't know much about them. Previously, he had only heard their Wang clan's grand elder, Wang Jingrao, say that the young man before him was extremely accomplished in the way of the sword. However, he did not have any idea about this. Yet now, a supreme expert who stood at the peak of the Sky Sand realm had said that the young man's attainments in the Sword Dao were above his. How could he not be shocked? Since Duan Lingtian had already expected this, he was not surprised by Wang Kuei's words. He guessed that the Wang clan had sold him to Situ Lei. The only thing he hadn't expected was that the Wang clan had also mentioned the Sword Dao that he had mastered. Presumably, the main reason Situ Lei wanted to see him was because of the Sword Dao that he had mastered. In terms of strength, I'm far inferior to him. But in terms of attainments in the Sword Dao, he's probably inferior to me. However, even if they walk on different paths of Sword Dao, if they can learn from each other, they can still obtain a certain level of comprehension. That Situ Lei must have thought of this point. Duan Lingtian had also guessed Situ Lei's thoughts at this time. It could be said that Situ Lei wanted to see him. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian's heart settled. It was not impossible for him to share his comprehension of the Sword Dao for the other party to learn from. As long as the other party gave enough benefits, it was not impossible. Moreover, Duan Lingtian also believed that as long as he entertained Situ Lei well this time, the Wang clan would completely treat him as one of their own and would no longer treat him as an outsider. Now, the reason why the Wang clan still had its former glory could be said to be completely relying on the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, this big tree. For Situ Lei, the Wang clan would definitely agree to all his requests. Usually, Situ Lei did not have anything to ask of the Wang clan. After all, the current Wang clan was a clan that did not even have a supreme expert. Situ Lei took care of the Wang clan because of the friendship of the supreme expert of the Wang clan. However, friendship would also fade, especially after helping the Wang clan time and time again. Every time he helped the Wang clan, he was returning the favor. Perhaps the supreme expert of the Wang clan in the past had done Situ Lei a great favor, but no matter how great the favor was, there would come a time when it was over. Now that the Wang clan had the opportunity to do Situ Lei a favor through Duan Lingtian, they were naturally happy to do so. Once Duan Lingtian really did this favor on behalf of the Wang clan, Duan Lingtian would naturally no longer be an outsider on the Wang clan side from then on. At the very least, the higher-ups of the Wang clan, such as the Wang clan leader Wang Kuei and the 2 supreme elders with the highest status in the Wang clan, would completely treat Duan Lingtian as one of their own. Brother Li Feng, I'll be frank with you. This time, the Wang clan hopes that you can discuss the Sword Dao with Senior Situ. With your greater attainments than Senior Situ, you'll definitely be able to give him some inspiration. This time, as long as Senior Situ is satisfied, you can ask for anything from the Wang clan. As long as it's within the Wang clan's power, we won't be stingy. Wang Kuei spoke very seriously and directly stated the Wang clan's desire this time without beating around the bush. What Wang Kuei said now was completely in line with what Duan Lingtian had guessed. You jest, clan leader. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. I, Li Feng, am now the son-in-law of the Wang clan and can be considered half a member of the Wang clan. If the Wang clan needs something, I, Li Feng, will naturally not decline if it's within my power. I wonder, when will Senior Situ have the time to see me? Duan Lingtian's words were also very simple and direct. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Wang Kuei's eyes lit up, and in the next moment, his tone became much more excited. Brother Li Feng, Senior Situ said that whenever you're free, he can come and see you directly. After Situ Lei found out that Duan Lingtian's attainments in the Sword Dao were above his, he did not feel that he was superior just because he was an ultimate expert. The one who reached the top was first. At least, in the Sword Dao, the son-in-law of the Wang clan was ahead of him. Moreover, he also found out from the Wang clan that this son-in-law of the Wang clan, who was not even 10,000 years old, had such strength behind him. He must have an extraordinary background. Behind the other party's background, there might be an ultimate expert who was stronger than him. For such a person, even if Situ Lei could do whatever he wanted in the Sky Sand Realm, he would not dare to take advantage of his seniority. Senior Situ is joking. Duan Lingtian smiled slightly. He's a senior, and I'm a junior. Naturally, I should be the one to see him. Clan leader, please take me to see Senior Situ. Brother Li Feng, thank you. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Wang Kuei secretly breathed a sigh of relief and could not help but feel grateful. From his perspective, and even the Wang clan's perspective, naturally, they did not want Situ Lei to come and see Duan Lingtian. After all, Situ Lei's status in the eyes of the Wang clan was extraordinary. Moreover, in terms of age and seniority, Situ Lei was an elder. However, they could not ask too much of Li Feng. Therefore, they could only let Li Feng make the decision himself. Now that Li Feng was so tactful, he breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, he also sent a message to the Wang clan's grand elder, Wang Jingrao, about Li Feng's attitude. The Wang clan owes Brother Li Feng this favor. After Senior Situ leaves, bring Brother Li Feng to our Wang clan's treasury and let him choose whatever he wants. The Wang clan cannot be stingy in this regard. Of course, with Brother Li Feng's strength and talent, as well as his extraordinary background, even in our Wang clan's treasury, there might not be many things that Brother Li Feng will want. At this moment, Duan Lingtian was following Wang Kuei to find the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei. However, he did not know that the Wang clan's treasury had already opened its doors to him, allowing him to choose any treasure he wanted. Chapter 44-41. It was not like Duan Lingtian had never seen a supreme powerhouse before. Even before coming to the Outer Realm, he had seen the supreme experts in the realm battlefield of the God-defying realm and had even come into contact with them. However, there seemed to be only one supreme powerhouse that he had met in the past. The feeling he got from him was not weaker than the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei. It was a very strange feeling. Situ Lei had the demeanor of an immortal. He seemed ordinary, but he gave him a lot of pressure. Even the divine tree of life in his small world throbbed. He had not felt this way for a long time. Only when he was bathing in the God-defying world's realm battlefield in the God-defying world did the owner of the mysterious voice give him such a feeling. Of course, the person who showed up at that time might not be the real body. If the person who showed up at that time was not the real body, does that mean that his strength might be above Situ Lei's? At this moment, Duan Lingtian could not help but think. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian could not help but secretly gasp. The inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, was already a top figure in the heavenly sand realm. How strong would the person be if he was stronger than him? Of course, Duan Lingtian also knew that although the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, was a top figure in the heavenly sand realm, he did not represent the top combat power in the outer realm. This was because even the heavenly sand realm was only the border of the outer realm. It belonged to the outer realm, the most remote and backward place. This was also something that Duan Lingtian further understood after coming to the Wang family in Lanshao City. Greetings, Senior Situ. After all, it was not the first time that Duan Lingtian had faced a supreme powerhouse. He had even seen a battle between supreme powerhouses. At this moment, he seemed very casual in front of Situ Lei. Compared to the Wang family head, Wang Kuei, he was completely opposite. At this moment, Wang Kuei respectfully greeted Situ Lei in front of him. He held his breath and did not even dare to breathe. Seeing Duan Lingtian like this, a strange light flashed in the depths of Situ Lei's eyes, and then he gave a friendly smile. Little friendly Feng, there's no need to be so polite. In terms of cultivation, I'm superior to you because I'm much older than you. In terms of the sword Dao, I might not be inferior to you. As soon as he finished speaking, Situ Lei continued without waiting for Duan Lingtian to speak. I presume little friendly Feng already knows the purpose of my invitation this time. I'm a straightforward person who likes to be straightforward and doesn't like to beat around the bush. The reason I'm looking for you, young friendly Feng, is because I hope to discuss sword Dao with you, young friendly Feng. As long as I benefit from the discussion, I will definitely not mistreat my young friendly Feng. Situ Lei simply said. Duan Lingtian was also shocked by Situ Lei's straightforwardness. He thought that Situ Lei just wanted him to demonstrate his swordsmanship through the Wang family, but now it seemed that Situ Lei was also very sincere. This also made Duan Lingtian have a good impression of Situ Lei. No matter what, Situ Lei was still a high and mighty expert, and the current him was not even an invincible upper-level ultimate god. Senior Situ, you must be joking. Duan Lingtian smiled slightly. Now that I've married the daughter of the Wang family, I'm considered half a member of the Wang family. Senior, you've taken great care of the Wang family all these years. Now that I'm the son-in-law of the Wang family, it's only right for me to do something for you. I dare not ask for anything in return. As soon as Duan Lingtian said this, Wang Kuei's gaze toward Duan Lingtian became even friendlier. Situ Lei was stunned for a moment before he laughed. Good, good, good. The Wang family has really found a good son-in-law this time. Senior Situ, I'll take my leave first. After greeting Situ Lei, Wang Kuei looked at Duan Lingtian again and said with a smile, Brotherly Feng, please take good care of Senior Situ on behalf of the Wang family. Now, no matter how he looked at the young man in front of him, he was pleasing to the eye. Their Wang family had really found a good son-in-law this time. Compared to him, Meng Yujing of the Meng family in Kanglan City was simply mud. Don't worry, family head. Duan Lingtian nodded. I won't hide anything from Senior Situ. As for Duan Lingtian, he really didn't intend to keep it to himself. In his opinion, Situ Lei was a supreme expert, and he had a good relationship with him. For him, there were only benefits and no disadvantages. Even if Situ Lei found out the purpose of his visit to the Wang family in the future, he might not do anything to him and might even remember his favor. And with his favor, when the Wang family found out the truth in the future, they might not hold a grudge against him. He still had a good impression of some people in the Wang family. If he could save Wang Luoyu without falling out with the Wang family, he did not want to fall out with the Wang family. Of course, his original plan would not change. Although he felt that even if he told the Wang family the truth now, the Wang family would not do anything to him. He still did not intend to take the risk. What if? Among the people in power in the Wang family, he had only seen the supreme elder Wang Jingrao and the family head Wang Kuei. There was still one supreme elder that he had not seen yet. Wonderful. Amazing. Young friendly Feng, your sword Dao is simply superb. I thought that even if my sword Dao is not as good as yours, the gap is not big. Now it seems that I am a frog in a well. If I can master the sword Dao at your level, I am confident that I can suppress all the powerful experts in Heavenly Sand Realm. Seeing Duan Lingtian show the profundity of sword Dao without holding back, the inherited heaven sword Situ Lei's eyes shone brighter and brighter. In the end, he also gestured. Another profundity of sword Dao appeared in Duan Lingtian's divine artifact. At this moment, Situ Lei had entered the space in Duan Lingtian's spatial divine artifact. It was risky for an ordinary person to rashly enter someone else's spatial divine artifact. However, as a supreme expert, if Situ Lei really unleashed his full power, he could easily destroy the space in Duan Lingtian's spatial divine artifact and escape. In front of Situ Lei, Duan Lingtian did his best to show the profundity of Sword Dao. He showed the profundity of Space Sword Dao without holding back, causing Situ Lei to be mesmerized. During this process, Duan Lingtian also looked at Situ Lei's Sword Dao. It was not difficult for him to find some flaws in it. If Situ Lei wanted to observe Duan Lingtian's Sword Dao, it would be difficult for him to fix these flaws. However, under Duan Lingtian's guidance, although he could not make up for many flaws, he knew the root cause of the next time. As long as Situ Lei was given time, he could completely eliminate those flaws. And this also made Situ Lei grateful to Duan Lingtian. After getting along for a period of time, Duan Lingtian also understood this supreme expert better. In front of him, the other party was completely on the same level as him and never put on the slightest airs. Even when asking for his guidance, he was as obedient as a studious student. Of course, after getting along with the other party for a period of time, Duan Lingtian was not without gains. Although the other party's Sword Dao was not enough to feed back Duan Lingtian, the other party still gave Duan Lingtian a lot of pointers on the laws of space and the laws of time. Although the other party was not good at these two laws, after all, he had lived for a long time. Many opponents and friends were good at the laws of space and the laws of time, so he could also guide Duan Lingtian in this regard. The two of them guided each other and stayed together for a full 3 years before leaving the spatial artifact. Duan Lingtian's original plan to leave the Wang family in a few days was delayed for a full 3 years. On the other side, Wang Luoyu was also patiently waiting. While waiting, her days were also much better than before. It could even be said that it was a world of difference. Every few days, a large amount of cultivation resources that even the direct descendants of the Wang clan would be jealous of would be delivered to her for her to enjoy. She was like the most honorable princess of the Wang family, shining brightly. Some people said that the grandson of the Wang family's patriarch, Wang Kuei, was publicly slapped by Wang Kuei because he accidentally said something about Wang Luoyu's deceased brother, Wang Yiyuan. At that moment, everyone in the Wang family knew that Wang Luoyu had flown to the top and become the Wang family's golden phoenix. At the same time, more and more people were curious about the background of Wang Luoyu's husband, the young man named Feng. What kind of background did he have to be able to allow Wang Luoyu's status in the Wang family to skyrocket? Miss you, everyone in the Wang family is saying that you have a good reputation for marrying a person of such high status like young Master Li Feng. The servant girl who helped Wang Luoyu with her makeup said to Wang Luoyu. When Wang Luoyu heard this, she could not help but feel a little dazed. Then, a bitter smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. She was not good enough for that elder brother Duan. It's been 3 years. Elder brother Duan should be coming back soon, right? Wang Luoyu thought to herself. Chapter 44-42. 3 years was enough for Wang Luoyu to come up with many new ideas. 3 years ago, the first thing she wanted to do was follow her elder brother Duan's dying wish and leave the Wang clan with her elder brother Duan. From then on, she would no longer be a marriage tool for the Wang clan. Now that she had been in the Wang clan for 3 years, she had been treated extremely well by the Wang clan. Even the clan leader of the Wang clan, Wang Kuei, was extremely courteous when he saw her. She was even fortunate enough to meet one of the Wang clan's supreme elders. The supreme elders even told her that she could look for him directly if she needed help. The change in the Wang clan's attitude towards her was like heaven and earth. Now, she was like a high and mighty princess in the Wang clan. She was sought after by everyone. No matter where she went, she was like the moon surrounded by stars. It should be known that even when her elder brother Wang Yiyuan was still alive, she had never received such treatment. Of course, Wang Luoyu knew very well that the reason she was able to receive such treatment was all because of her elder brother Duan. Of course, in the eyes of the Wang clan, he was not Duan Lingtian, but Li Feng. Recently, she had thought more than once about how great it would be if her elder brother Duan was not Duan Lingtian but Li Feng, her husband. Moreover, under the influence of the people around her, and when she thought about how considerate and responsible her elder brother Duan was, she had unknowingly developed a favorable impression of him. Perhaps, even if she was asked to marry him now, she would not reject it. Big Brother Duan is really outstanding. It's no wonder that even a woman like Big Sister Rose who has high standards would favor him so much. Wang Luoyu sighed inwardly. She knew very well how high her good sister's standards were. In the entire Skysand territory, there was no young talent of the same generation that she liked. Of course, she also knew that such an outstanding man did not belong to her sister Rose, and it was impossible for him to belong to her. I can't believe. 3 years have passed in the blink of an eye. 3 years was not a long time for Duan Lingtian, and it passed in the blink of an eye. Moreover, he had spent the past 3 years with Situ Lei, the inherited heaven sword. While he demonstrated the sword Dao to Situ Lei also tried his best to help him comprehend the law of time and the law of space. Although Situ Lei was not proficient in these two laws, he had lived for a long time and was very knowledgeable. Moreover, he had many floating mirror image that he had fought with people who were proficient in these two laws. Among those scryer images, there were even scryer images of invincible high-level ultimate gods fighting. Not to mention the scryer image of an invincible upper-level supreme god who was proficient in the law of time and the law of space. Even the scryer image of an invincible upper-level supreme god who was proficient in other ordinary laws was extremely precious in the outer realm or even the myriad worlds. More than 90% of invincible higher-level supreme gods were existences who had comprehended and mastered the laws of nature to the realm of perfection. Such an existence could be said to have walked to the end of the law he was proficient in and comprehended to the pinnacle. The laws displayed in the scryer recordings of such existences could be said to be flawless. One could imagine how precious it was. And Duan Lingtian had obtained such a scryer image from Situ Lei. It should be known that this kind of scryer image, because of its preciousness, was often recorded with restrictions on it, and there was no way to forcibly copy it. And Situ Lei had given this scryer image to Duan Lingtian. To the current Duan Lingtian, the value of this scryer image was actually not inferior to the godhead of an ultimate god in the law of space. In fact, it might even be of greater help to him. Therefore, even though Situ Lei's attainments in the sword Dao had not been small in the past 3 years, Duan Lingtian still felt that he had gained a great advantage. Perhaps, the improvement he had obtained in the law of space was not as good as Situ Lei's gains in the sword Dao, but that might not be the case in the future. Little friendly Feng, after parting today, I don't know when we'll meet again. There should be some things in this storage ring that you can use. Even if you can't use them, it shouldn't be difficult to exchange them for something you can use. Before parting, Situ Lei handed Duan Lingtian a storage ring. In these 3 years, thanks to little friendly Feng's magnanimity, my progress in the sword Dao has been rapid. Perhaps, it won't be long before there will be no one who can match me in the heavenly sands realm. As he spoke, Situ Lei's eyes were filled with yearning. Currently, although he was considered one of the strongest ultimate gods in the heavenly sands realm, he was only one of the strongest ultimate gods. There were still a few people who could compete with him, and if his sword Dao improved further, there was hope for him to surpass those few people. And this was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that the increase in his strength also meant that it would be much easier for him to resist the next 10,000 years of heavenly tribulation. Resisting the 10,000 years of heavenly tribulation became easier, which also meant that he could live for a period of time. This was the most important thing. Because of this, he felt that he owed Duan Lingtian a great favor. Even if he had given Duan Lingtian a scryer recording of a battle between two ultimate gods who had comprehended the laws of space to perfection, he still felt that it was far from enough. In his eyes, there was nothing more important than his own life. Whether it was that scryer recording or the storage ring in his hands, they were all just worldly possessions. Once he died, no matter how good his worldly possessions were, he would not be able to enjoy them. Senior Situ, that scryer recording of yours is enough to repay my favor. Duan Lingtian did not take the storage ring that Situ Lei handed over. Even though he knew that there were definitely many things he needed in this storage ring, as he said, he felt that the scryer recording given by Situ Lei was enough to repay the favor of sharing his understanding of the sword Dao. At first, Situ Lei was still insisting, but when he saw Duan Lingtian's determination, he did not continue to force Duan Lingtian. However, at this time, there was a slight change in the way he looked at Duan Lingtian. Little friendly Feng. It's fine if you don't accept this storage ring. However, I will give little friendly Feng another thing. This thing, little friendly Feng, you must accept it. This thing, to little friendly Feng, may never be of use. However, once it is of use, to little friendly Feng, it may be a life-saving item. As Situ Lei spoke, he had already raised his hand and took out an ordinary-looking jade piece. However, when a light flashed between his eyebrows, there was another drop of golden blood, surrounded by obscure golden translucent symbols that shot out and merged into the jade piece in his hand. Suddenly, the golden light on the jade piece soared and disappeared after a while. At the same time, the jade piece returned to its original appearance. The only difference was that there was an additional mark of golden blood on the jade piece. At the same time, the jade piece no longer gave off an ordinary feeling. It emitted an extremely terrifying aura. This aura gave people the feeling that there was an ancient, ferocious beast sealed within it. Once it erupted, it could break mountains and even destroy the heavens and earth. Supreme Powerhouse Spiritual Blood Essence. Just as Duan Lingtian was stunned by the scene in front of him, a cry of surprise rang in his ears. This voice belonged to one of the 5 divine elements in Duan Lingtian's little world, the world-cleansing divine water. Supreme Powerhouse Spiritual Blood Essence? Duan Lingtian was puzzled. This was the first time he had heard of this term. He knew what blood essence was, but what was this spiritual blood essence? Chapter 44-43. This was Duan Lingtian's first time hearing about the spiritual blood essence. For this reason, he had no idea what it was. However, when he heard the world-cleansing divine waters exclamation, he realized the spiritual blood essence was not an ordinary item. Of course, just by listening to the words of Situ Lei, the inherited heaven sword, it was enough to show that the essence blood was not an ordinary thing. After all, Situ Lei had said it could save his life at a critical moment. The spiritual blood essence is the blood essence of a supreme powerhouse. You know what a normal blood essence is. It's very precious to humans and other living beings. As for the spiritual colored blood essence, it is specially refined from the blood essence of an ultimate expert. Although the difficulty of refining it is not very high, and it does not affect one's cultivation, it still requires a very long time. The world-cleansing divine water's voice rang in Duan Lingtian's ears again. It said that it takes a supreme powerhouse more than 10,000 years to refine a drop of spiritual blood essence. More than 10,000 years? Duan Lingtian was shocked when he heard the world-cleansing divine water's words. Although supreme powerhouses were powerful and lived for a long time, they could easily live for hundreds of thousands of years, or even hundreds of thousands of years. However, even a supreme powerhouse who had lived for hundreds of thousands of years could only refine a few dozen drops of spiritual blood essence in his lifetime. However, Situ Lei, the heaven-cleansing divine sword, had given him a drop of spiritual blood essence. Sister Water, what's the use of this spiritual blood essence? Duan Lingtian could not help but ask. Earlier, Situ Lei, the heaven-cleansing divine sword, had clearly said the spiritual blood essence could save his life at a critical moment. Although Duan Lingtian was reluctant to accept it, he could not help but feel a little moved. At most, he would owe Situ Lei a favor and repay him in the future. Currently, Duan Lingtian might not have any use for him, but if he became an invincible higher godly venerable one day, Duan Lingtian might need his help. When the time came, he would return the favor. As Duan Lingtian waited expectantly, the world-cleansing divine water said, "You can summon the Supreme Powerhouse's spirit blood essence after you use your divine energy and the law of space to evaporate it. You can use the spirit blood essence as a portal for the Supreme Powerhouse. It can allow the Supreme Powerhouse to appear at the scene directly." Upon hearing the world-cleansing divine water's words, Duan Lingtian's eyes narrowed and his breathing quickened. What does this mean? This meant that he could call out a powerhouse at any time. Moreover, he wasn't the weakest among the strongest. Of course, there are also restrictions. The world-cleansing divine water continued to say, if you accept his blood essence, you'll be able to summon him anywhere in the outer world. However, he won't be able to appear in the secret realms where supreme experts can't enter. In addition, there's no way to make him appear in any of the realms, unless he's in the same realm as you. Upon hearing the world-cleansing divine water's words, Duanling Tian could not help but ask, Sister Water, do you mean I can summon Senior Situ, Lei to help me as long as it's not a place where supreme powerhouses can't enter? Yes, the world-cleansing divine water replied. Duanling Tian, on the other hand, did not reject Situ Lei's gift of the inherited heaven sword after he found out what the soul-bearing blood essence meant. Senior. Duanling Tian's expression was solemn as he said, the soul force blood essence you gave me is indeed a life-saving treasure. So, I won't refuse. However, if I don't need your help, I'll return it to you when I no longer need your help. And before that, if I use this spirit essence blood and ask for Senior's help, then I will owe Senior another favor. When he spoke up to this point, Duanling Tian saw Situ Lei seemed to want to say something, so he spoke first. Senior, you can take this as a condition for me to accept your spiritualist blood essence. If you're not willing to do this, I really don't dare to accept your spirit blood essence. Duanling Tian's persistence caused Situ Lei to not say anything more, but the gaze he looked at Duanling Tian with was filled with even more praise. Little friendly foe, your innate talent is outstanding. After today's farewell, I believe your strength will definitely improve the next time we meet. However, I still advise you not to rush to become an ultimate powerhouse if you have the chance to become an invincible higher ultimate god. If you become an ultimate god, your strength will be improved by leaps and bounds. However, if you don't comprehend the law to the perfection realm before that, it'll be difficult to comprehend the law to the perfection realm after becoming an ultimate god. At least, in the history of the outer realm and even the myriad worlds, I've never heard of anyone who only comprehended the law to the perfection realm after stepping into the ultimate god realm. In the outer realm and the 10,000 worlds, as long as an ultimate master becomes an ultimate master, they'll be considered a world master. Even if they're not, they're close. Their strength is not comparable to an ordinary ultimate god. Even if it's me, I'm far from an ultimate god who becomes an ultimate god. Situ Lei paused for a moment before continuing. Of course, once you become an ultimate god, it'll be more difficult to become an ultimate god. This is also a publicly acknowledged fact. I don't know why it's difficult. After all, I'm not an invincible higher ultimate god before I become an ultimate god. However, since everyone says it's difficult, it should be very difficult. I've lived for more than 200,000 years. In these 200,000 years, I know many invincible higher ultimate gods who didn't become ultimate gods until they fell under the 1,000-year heavenly tribulation. As for those people, before they became unrivaled high-level supreme gods, they were all people who could have become extremely strong experts, but they didn't. If you don't become an invincible higher ultimate god, it's easy to become an ultimate god. However, once you become an invincible higher ultimate god, it'll be extremely difficult to become an ultimate god. In the 200,000 years I've lived, the number of people I know who successfully became an ultimate god from an invincible higher ultimate god can be counted on one hand. You should be able to understand what I'm saying, right? If it were an ordinary person, I'd definitely advise him to become an ultimate god directly so that he can live longer. Once he becomes an invincible higher ultimate god, he may not have the chance to become an ultimate god in the future. However, you're different. You've achieved this before you're even 10,000 years old. I think if you become an invincible higher ultimate god, it should be easier for you to become an ultimate god than most invincible higher ultimate gods. It had to be said that this was the first time Duanling Tian had heard Situ Lei's words. Was it difficult for an invincible higher ultimate god to become an ultimate god? However, it was easy for these invincible higher ultimate gods to become ultimate gods before they became invincible higher ultimate gods? Perhaps this is another reason why there are so few invincible higher ultimate gods. Not every higher ultimate god wants to become an invincible higher ultimate god. If they can become an ultimate god, they'll directly choose to become an ultimate god so that they can live longer. Once they become an invincible higher ultimate god, but can't become an ultimate god, these people will definitely not live as long as the former. After all, before becoming an ultimate god, the heavenly tribulation comes once every 1,000 years. After becoming an ultimate god, the heavenly tribulation comes once every 10,000 years. It had to be said that after learning this from Situ Lei, Duan Lingtian's heart, which originally wanted to chase after an invincible higher ultimate god, was slightly shaken. With his attainments in sword principle, even if his power of law did not reach the perfection stage, after becoming an ultimate god and consolidating his strength might not be weaker than Situ Lei. He might even be stronger. Once he chased after an invincible higher ultimate god, he might not be able to become an ultimate god. However, once he became an ultimate god with the body of an invincible higher ultimate god, he could directly become a universe master. It was said that there were only a few dozen ultimate gods in the 10,000 worlds in the outer realm who were universe masters. This showed how difficult it was to become a universe master. Forget it. Senior Situ Lei is right. I'm not even 10,000 years old, and I already have such strength. If I really become an invincible higher ultimate god, I might have a chance to become an ultimate god. For me, the most important thing now is to save Kerr. Being an invincible higher ultimate god is more than enough to save Kerr. As long as he became an invincible higher ultimate god, he could choose to serve under a universe master. This way, he could ask a universe master to help his wife, Kerr, get rid of the soul shackles that Yun Qing Yin had placed on her. If he directly became an ultimate god, he might not be able to get rid of the soul shackles that Yun Qing Yin had placed on Kerr. He might not even be able to ask a universe master to help him. In the eyes of a universe master, an ordinary ultimate god was not worth as much as an invincible higher ultimate god. This was because they could do what an ordinary ultimate god could do, but they might not be able to do what an invincible higher ultimate god could do. As he thought of this, Duan Lingtian hesitated for a while before looking at Situ Lei and asking, "Senior, do you know about the Ghost Clan?" "Ghost Clan?" Situ Lei was stunned for a moment before he nodded. "I've heard of this clan. It seems to be a clan from one of the realms in the myriad worlds. This clan specializes in the soul shackles way." Based on Situ Lei's reaction, it was obvious that his understanding of the Ghost Clan was based on hearsay. "Senior, it's said that there are ultimate gods in the Ghost Clan as well. Generally, soul shackles that are placed by the Ghost Clan can be easily removed by someone with a higher cultivation base. If it's a soul shackles placed by an ultimate god in the Ghost Clan, ordinary ultimate gods won't be able to remove it. However, if it's a universe master, will they be able to remove it?" After he finished asking, Duan Lingtian looked at Situ Lei with a gaze that was filled with anticipation. He urgently needed to know this. Chapter 44-44. Normally, it should be possible. After listening to Duan Lingtian's words, Situ Lei pondered for a moment before he said loudly, "Although universe venerables are also called supreme powerhouses like us, the strength of a universe venerables is a qualitative transformation compared to other supreme powerhouses. The power of a universe master is quite different from that of an ordinary ultimate master." That's right. In terms of the level of the soul, it should also be quite different. The reason why Situ Lei said probably was because he had never come into contact with a universe master before. His understanding of universe masters was based on hearsay. Of course, these are all my speculations. After all, I am not capable of coming into contact with a universe master yet. Speaking of this, Situ Lei looked at Duan Lingtian again and said, "However, I speculate that if a universe master were to break the soul imprisonment of an ordinary supremacy from the Nightmare Soul Clan, it should not be a problem. Moreover, even if an ordinary universe master is unable to break the soul imprisonment, a universe master who is skilled in the way of the soul should be able to do it." If what Situ Lei said was true, Duan Lingtian only felt a little hope. However, the last sentence made Duan Lingtian's eyes light up. A universe master who was skilled in the way of the soul. That was right. A universe master might not be able to save Kerr, but a universe master who was skilled in the way of the soul would definitely be able to do it. "My friendly Feng, why are you suddenly asking this? Has someone around you been imprisoned by the Nightmare Soul Clan? Even the Supremes behind you can't break the soul imprisonment? Situ Lei asked doubtfully. At this moment, he could also see Duan Ling Tian's excitement.
Yes.
Duan Ling Tian nodded. Then, he thought of the ancestor of the Xia clan in the world of divine remains who couldn't do anything about Ker's soul imprisonment. He let out a long sigh and said, "Ordinary experts can't do anything." Situ Lei was not surprised by Duan Ling Tian's words. After all, it was impossible for an ordinary supreme powerhouse to break free from the soul shackles cast by a supreme powerhouse from the Spectre clan. Of course, at this moment, Situ Lei also confirmed one thing, that was, there was no universe master behind the young man named Li Feng. He couldn't help but feel a little shocked by this. This was because when he first found out that the other party had such achievements before the age of 10,000, he subconsciously guessed that there should be a universe master behind the other party. In his opinion, only a universe master could possibly cultivate such a monstrous genius in such a short period of time. Now, when he realized that there was no universe master behind the person in front of him, he couldn't help but feel inexplicably shocked. Without the help of a universe master, one could imagine how difficult it was to get to this point. This little friendly Feng, as long as he can grow up smoothly in the future, he will definitely be a famous figure in the Outer Realm and even the 10,000 world. Situ Lei thought to himself. After asking Situ Lei about the Nightmare Soul Clan, Duan Ling Tian didn't chat with him anymore. After bidding farewell to Situ Lei, he flew toward the residence that the Wang clan had arranged for him. Wang Luoyu was still there. Situ Lei was also preparing to leave the Wang clan. Before they parted, he said that he would go and say goodbye to the Wang clan leader before leaving. He also asked Duan Ling Tian to let the Wang clan leader, Wang Kuei, look for him if he needed anything in the future. As long as it was within his power, he would not refuse. Obviously, in these 3 years, Situ Lei had benefited a lot from Duan Ling Tian. Duan Ling Tian was extremely clear in his heart that after this parting, it would probably be difficult for him to meet Situ Lei again in the future. Even if there really was a chance, it would most likely be when he used up the spirit accumulation blood essence that Situ Lei gave him. Once he used up the spiritual blood essence, he would owe Situ Lei a big favor and would probably take the initiative to look for him in the future. Elder brother Duan. Wang Luoyu had waited 3 whole years for Duan Ling Tian to return. Sorry to keep you waiting. Duan Ling Tian smiled. Get ready. We will leave tomorrow. Duan Ling Tian did not intend to stay in the Wang clan for long. The sooner he sent Wang Luoyu away, the sooner he would fulfill his promise to Wang Yiyuan. Elder brother Duan. At this moment, Wang Luoyu was somewhat hesitant to speak. Only after a while did she muster up the courage to say, with your current status in the Wang family, even if you leave alone, the Wang family will definitely not allow me to remarry. Duan Ling Tian was stunned when he heard Wang Luoyu's words. Then, he thought about it and understood. In these 3 years, he had contributed to the Wang clan and further strengthened the relationship between the Wang clan and the inherited Heaven Sword, Situ Lei. Under such circumstances, how could the Wang clan treat Wang Luoyu unfairly? After all, in the eyes of the Wang clan, Wang Luoyu was Li Feng's wife. That's right. Duan Ling Tian nodded. If he was not sure if the Wang clan's attitude toward Wang Luoyu would change after he left. Now, he was certain that the Wang clan's attitude toward Wang Luoyu would not change because of his departure. Firstly, the Wang clan was indebted to him for sharing Sword Dao with Situ Lei. Secondly, the Wang family would also consider his potential and the powerful forces outside the heavenly sand realm that might be behind him. Therefore, even if he left the Wang clan for thousands of years, the Wang clan would definitely not treat Wang Luoyu unfairly. Have you thought it through? Duan Ling Tian asked Wang Luoyu again. Yes. Wang Luoyu nodded. The Wang clan is where I grew up. I've never been to any place other than Lanshao City. If I can stay, I don't want to leave. Elder brother Duan, my brother Wang Yiyuan asked you to take me away because he didn't want my fate to be manipulated by the Wang clan. Now, because of you, the Wang clan can no longer manipulate my fate. At the very least, I don't have to worry about the Wang clan manipulating me before I die in the heavenly tribulation. So, even if you don't take me away, You've fulfilled your promise to my brother. All of this is my own choice." After Wang Luoyu finished speaking, Duan Lingtian pondered for a moment before he spoke again. "There's a problem that you have to consider. If you continue to stay in the Wang clan, it'll be difficult for you to find another marriage in the future. If you take the initiative to seek one, I'm afraid the Wang clan won't allow it." Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Wang Luoyu smiled sweetly. "Elder brother Duan, I don't plan to seek any marriage in this life. It's quite good to be alone." Duan Lingtian sighed when he heard this. "Think about it again. I'll give you 3 days. After 3 days, either you leave with me, or I leave on my own. I think your brother Wang Yiyuan definitely wants you to find your own happiness in the future. If you can't stay in the Wang clan, you'll regain the right to pursue your own happiness after leaving the Wang clan. If Wang Luoyu stayed in the Wang clan, she would definitely be branded as Li Feng's wife. The Wang clan would not allow outsiders to taint the wife of their son-in-law, Li Feng. To them, the powerful background behind Li Feng might be somewhat illusory. However, the relationship between Li Feng and the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, was very real. No one can understand Situ Lei's gratitude better than the Wang family. Seeing Duan Lingtian turn and leave, leaving her alone in the empty room, Wang Luoyu heaved a long sigh. "Elder brother Duan, after meeting you, I realized that there's such a perfect young talent in the world. With you as a comparison, I'm afraid it'll be impossible for me to find someone I like in this life. If that's the case, I might as well spend the rest of my life alone." Of course, Duan Lingtian could not hear Wang Luoyu's words. 3 days later, Duan Lingtian left the Wang clan alone. At the entrance of the Wang clan's patriarch, Wang Kuei, the Wang clan's supreme elder, Wang Jingrao, and Wang Luoyu sent Duan Lingtian off. "Clan leader, grand elder, I have urgent matters to attend to and need to leave for a while. Please take care of Luoyu." Even though he knew that Wang Kuei and Wang Jingrao would look for Wang Luoyu even if he did not say anything, Duan Lingtian still specifically instructed them, "Don't worry, brother Li Feng." Wang Kuei laughed heartily. "Later, I'll announce to the entire Wang clan and the outside world that I, Wang Kuei, recognize Luoyu as my sister, and Grand Elder will also recognize Luoyu as his goddaughter. From now on, she'll be the princess of the Wang clan." Wang Jingrao smiled and nodded. "Don't worry. I promise you, as long as the Wang clan is not destroyed, Luoyu will not lose a single hair." "Duan, brother Feng." As for Wang Luoyu, she immediately changed her words. 2 streams of tears fell from her eyes, and her face was filled with reluctance. Although they were not husband and wife, she could not help but feel sad and reluctant when she thought about how she was treated in the Wang clan because of this person in front of her. "I'll be back as soon as possible." Duan Lingtian smiled lightly before bidding farewell to Wang Kuei and Wang Jingrao. Then, he flew away with the wind, leaving the Wang clan and Lanshao City as well. The 3 members of the Wang clan only regained their senses after Duan Lingtian's figure disappeared from their sight. The moment Duan Lingtian left Lan Xiaoqing, in a corner of Lan Xiaoqing, a figure also rose into the air and followed from afar. Based on the current situation, there shouldn't be any strong people hiding around Li Feng to protect him in the dark, unless it's a strong person hiding in the dark, which is why I can't discover him. Let's follow him and take a look. The person who followed Duan Lingtian from afar was completely covered in a loose black robe, and it was impossible to see his appearance and figure clearly. However, as his figure moved, it was as if a green saber light flashed. In the blink of an eye, his saber had traveled thousands of miles, sweeping across the land. Chapter 44-45. After all, Tanshoding is also a high-ranking god, and it is the kind of high ranking that is close to the invincible high-ranking gods. Naturally, he knows that at their level of cultivation, many things have to be considered in the 1,000-year tribulation. Like this time, if he hadn't been instructed by anyone, he wanted to kill the person in front of him, and it would be impossible to let him go. If you are really open-minded, it's okay. If you are not so open-minded, in order not to trigger the risk of the 1,000-year-old calamity of the heart demon, you will inevitably choose to kill him to avoid future troubles. Fortunately, I was ordered to shoot. Thinking of this, While he was relieved, Tan Xiaoding thought of Ming Yuzheng of the Ming family in Kanglan City and couldn't help shaking his head again and again for a while. He knows that this one is going to be out of luck this time. Don't blame me. If you blame it, blame you for hitting him with your idea. You have harmed me, and you have also harmed yourself. Fortunately, I got my life back, and you, am afraid that you will die without life. After murmured in his heart, Tan Xiaoting was only lucky. Although in Tan Xiatang's magical spacecraft, Duan Lingtian still devoted himself to the practice and didn't care what little actions Tan Xiaoting would make. It's just because now Tan Xiaoting is Tan Xiaoting who has signed a contract with him for the master and servant of the Sky Blood Oath. He can feel any dissatisfaction with him at the first moment. Extinct. Therefore, he doesn't have to worry about Tan Xiatang's disagreement. At least, before Tan Xiatang's 1,000-year tribulation, Tan Xiaoting is unlikely to be alienated. At this time, Tan Xiaoting had no problem with his loyalty, even the newly promoted Ming family. Although it was Tan Xiaoting who was temporarily chasing after others, he really wanted Tan Xiaoting to choose. Tan Xiaoting also had to choose him. Although the strongest are strong, they are not as restrictive as the heavenly Sky Blood Oath Master and Servant contract. Kanglan City. Ming family. Since returning from Langxiaking last time, Ming Yuzheng has been depressed and brooding about all the things he had been in Langxiaking's Wang family in the past. That cheap son-in-law of the Wang family not only embarrassed him, but even embarrassed him in the presence of so many people in the heavenly sand realm. Moreover, even the strong ancestor of their Ming family, the ancestor of their line, also reprimanded him in public for the sake of each other. This made him who hated Li Feng into his bones. Hatred, even more hatred. It's been 3 years. Then Li Feng, is it possible that he hasn't left Wang's house or Lan Xiaoqing? In the past 3 years, Ming Yuzheng can't remember how many times he has stood in the sky above the Ming family mansion like he is now, looking in the direction of Lan Xiaoqing and talking to himself. Of course, he knew that his guess was correct in all likelihood. If Li Feng leaves Lan Xiaoqing, there is a strong shelter around him, and there is no chance to start. Then Tan Xiaoting will come back and tell me. Tan Xiaoting did not come back, indicating that Li Feng did not leave Lan Xiaoqing. Ming Yuzheng secretly said. As usual, after talking to himself, Ming Yuzheng was ready to go back to his room to practice. Of course, in the past 3 years, although he hadn't stopped practicing, the effect was not very good. The young man named Li Feng appeared in his mind more than once inexplicably, as if constantly taunting him, saying that he was not as good as Li Feng, could not marry Wang Luoyu, and was despised by the Wang family. Even them, the strongest ancestor of the Ming family, is not on his side. He felt that he had not waited for the arrival of the 1,000-year tribulation before he was born with a heart demon. He had restrained, but found it was useless at all. You know, it was the first time he suffered such a loss since he was a child, and it was still such a shameful loss. In his eyes, Li Feng is no different from his father-killing enemy. Then if Li Feng doesn't die, the next millennium catastrophe, I'm afraid I will be injured by the calamity of the heart demon, Ming Yuzheng secretly said. Originally, he would not have any pressure after the next millennium calamity, and he might not even have a slight injury. But now, he has no certainty to survive the heart devil calamity in that millennium calamity. Fortunately, the heart devil calamity he is facing now in the 1,000-year tribulation has not yet reached the point of life-threatening. If Li Feng does not die, I am afraid that it will not take 10,000 years. After a few thousand years, the heart demon calamity of the 1,000 years will be able to kill him. Master Ming Yuzheng. Just when Ming Yuzheng was about to fail back, he received a subpoena, and the person who passed it to him was the one he had been waiting for 3 years. Qingyan Sword King, Tan Xiaoting. It was also the strong ancestor of their Ming family who followed them, and because of his ancestor, the other party would him all the way to Lanshao City last time. If it is normal, without the ancestor's instructions, the other party would not even bother to pay attention to him. On this point, he is still very self-aware. It was this time that he let the opponent stay in Lan Xiaoqing and waited for the opportunity to kill that Li Feng, because he took out the fire law of the strongest godhead given by the ancestor. Otherwise, how could the other party offer him to drive him to kill? Uncle Tan. Ming Yuzheng responded with excitement to Tan Xiatang's call. You have killed that Li Feng? Master Ming Yuzheng, if you want to know, please wait for me thousands of miles south of the city. Tan Xiating's call came to Ming Yuzheng's ears again, and he didn't know the result of this time. When I get there, I will give you the recorded floating shadow image, and you, the law of fire is strongest. The Godhead lent it to me. Although you made the blood oath in the sky, as long as I do what you require, I will definitely lend me the Godhead of the strongest. But in Lan Xiaoqing, I am worried that you will give me the Godhead of the strongest person. The nobleman will react and intervene to obstruct. At that time, the strongest person's Godhead may be taken back by the nobleman. Tan Xiaoting said. Hearing Tan Xiating's concerns, Meng Yuzheng didn't doubt anything. Uncle Tan, I can understand your concerns. 1,000 miles to the south, isn't it? I will pass now. The current Ming Yuzheng desperately wants to obtain the floating mirror image of Tan Xiaoting killing Li Feng, because only in this way can he completely get rid of his heart demon. If it was only Tan Xiating's dictation, even if the flower was spoken, he would feel credible, but he would have gaps because of the lack of conclusive evidence. He must personally see the mirror image of Li Feng being killed. This is not only for the purpose of eliminating the demons, but also for the pleasure of seeing the scene of Li Feng's fall. Li Feng, you can't beat me after all. Ming Yuzheng, who was planning to fail back, rose again from the sky, left Ming's house, left Kanglan City, and headed towards the south. His goal is the place agreed with Tan Xiaoting thousands of miles away. In his opinion, Wanli is not far away. At this distance, even if he doesn't bring people, there is no danger. Now, within a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles in Kanglan City, I am afraid that few people do not know him, Ming Yuzheng, the first person in the younger generation of the Ming family in Kanglan City. Those people, even if they are stronger than him, dare not provoke him. From beginning to end, Ming Yuzheng never thought that Tan Xiaoting would cheat him and harm him. After all, if Tan Xiaoting really wanted to harm him, he would leave Kanglan City with him in the past and head to Lanshao City. There would be more opportunities, and there would be no need to wait until now. Even after the other party knew that he had the Godhead of the strongest in his hand, the other party was able to seize his opportunity to leave Lan Xiaoqing and return to Kanglan City. At that time, he was not back to Kanglan City with their Ming family's strongest ancestor, but Kanglan City with people from other families in Kanglan City. Tan Xiaoting really wanted to be against him at that time and had a 100% chance to succeed. Because of this, Ming Yuzheng never doubted Tan Xiaoting from beginning to end. To the south of Kanglan City, thousands of miles away, here is a vast rolling hills. The hills are bare, yellow sand is full of the sky. No green plants can be seen, as if this is an absolute forbidden area for plant life. And above the rolling hills, a figure was suspended in the void, sitting there cross-legged. Around his body, a faint cyan flame was beating, sometimes spreading out, sometimes condensing into a knife. This is a middle-aged man, sitting cross-legged in the void, closing his eyes and resting. The things outside his body, in addition to the accident of the ring in his hand, there is also a thick-looking token hanging from his waist. And if there is an artifact master who is good at refining tools here, you can definitely see that this token is a space artifact out of 10. If there is a strong person who is good at the law of space here, you can also sense the looming spatial fluctuations on this token. Master. This middle-aged man is no one else but the high-ranking god, the Qingyan Sword King Tan Xiaoting, who is well known in the Tianxia realm. At this moment, Tan Xiating's voice was condensed and passed into the token. The divine consciousness that I spread has already sensed that Ming Yuzheng is coming. He came alone. He didn't doubt anything. He didn't doubt anything, let alone anything. If I really want to be disadvantageous to him, before he returned to Kanglan City 3 years ago, there were opportunities to be disadvantageous to him, Tan Xiaoting said. Plus, in this area, he doesn't worry that someone will trouble him, and it will not be good for him. Therefore, 9 out of 10, he came alone. Also, I think he is in a hurry. Obviously, he wants to get the floating shadow mirror of you that I made up for killing you, Master Soon. Tan Xiating's voice passed into the token, passed into the space inside the token, which was the space artifact, and reached Duan Lingshan's ears. In fact, it would be more convenient for Duan Lingtian to hide into Tan Xiating's small world. However, The small world in a person's body is open to those who are weaker than oneself. If it is open to those who are stronger than oneself, it is likely to be passive. Even Tanxuting will definitely have some worries and fears. Therefore, Duan Lingtian is not too difficult for him. Even if he really wants to hide in Tan Xiating's small world, the other party cannot refuse. After all, there is a contract between the master and servant of the Sky Blood Oath. Just when Duan Lingtian faintly defeated Tanxuting, outside, a pleasantly surprised voice came from a distance at the right time. Uncle Tan, after 3 years, you are finally back. The person here is Meng Yuzheng. Meng Yuzheng, who has been waiting for Tanxuting for 3 full years. Master Meng Yuzheng. And Tanxuting also opened his eyes after Meng Yuzheng's arrival, stood up, and showed apologetic expression at the same time. I'm so sorry to let you run so far. However, I am also really worried. Before Tanxuting finished speaking, he was interrupted by Meng Yuzheng. Uncle Tan, there is no need to explain. I can understand. Where did you kill the floating mirror image of Li Feng? Show me quickly. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.